All right, gamers, welcome back. We are ready to do the Yua route. Moon and Sun. Now, according to my precognition, the way that we do this is the first delusion trigger, we do neutral, and then we're going to get yes-no prompts, which we answer no, no, yes, yes, yes. And then chapter 7 is when it goes into the ending. So again, not too much specific we got to do. We just got to skip our way over, read through any new additional scenes that come up, and then we will get through this stuff. Let's say yes. Let's say yes. Let's say yes. I don't care. Oh, wait, this is a new question. A white school swimsuit? Get the fuck out. Navy blue or nothing. Yeah. I didn't realize you could get different questions for the swimsuit preferences. You like girls with glasses? That's your type? Slow down now, man. Wait, hold on. Let me read the chat. Anyway, as we're talking about, here's my take on it. The swimsuit glasses combo should be the default. Also, pro tip, there has to be a name tag on the suit. And the swimsuit must be navy blue. Everything else can fuck off. Slow down, man, LMAO. You like girls with glasses? That's, I mean, yeah, it's just the best. What can I say? Nah, they just pair well with swimsuits. What? I mean, they do, but usually you take your glasses off for swimming, right? I thought we'd read this before. Did we not read this before? But she doesn't. And that leaves all sorts of room for my delusions to work. Well, your libido's death at full throttle today. That was what makes you Neidhard. I should be disgusted, and yet, LOLOL. Thank you, Hazuki. Wait, go back. What do you mean that's what makes you you? I mean, yeah, I guess I went a bit crazy there. But I'm still trying to maintain a cool image for myself here. You? Cool? Ah ha 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 ha. Who are you fooling? Who are you lying to? What are you laughing at? Anyway, what were we talking about before I went AFK? Now we can skip these memes. Skip. Alright, so the first illusion, we do neutral. We do neutral in the first one. Ugh. Which I think we did already before. So it should just skip us along, I think. Yeah, it did. Okay. Alright, so we're going to do no, no, yes, 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 I think. Yeah, it's a no, no, and then yes, yes, yes. Okay. Alright. It's just a coincidence. No, it's not a coincidence. I'm making it up. It's all in my head. No. It's there. It's real. The Nutrient Killer somewhere in the school. Yes, they are. Whoever wrote this is trying to provoke me. Yes, absolutely. I should definitely erase it. Yeah, let's get rid of it. Okay, achievement unlocked. Do you recognize it, right? Discovered Yua's story. Misumi-kun walked up to me, grabbed my shoulder, and gave me a good shake. It must have just been a common phrase or something. In other words, it was just a stupid, pointless scribble. I tried to tell myself that, but I still couldn't calm down. So in the end, I just went up and erased it, moving quickly so that nobody would notice. Alright, now we start skipping. Any new scenes we'll read, but otherwise we're just riding this along until chapter 7 again. Which took a bit of time. Last time we were skipping through. Took a bit of time. Oh, Shibuya Station was a much different place in the early morning than it was later in the day. Young people were scarce, and countless businessmen, following a jarring ride on the crowded trains, rushed out of the station, scattered every which way into Shibuya. It was a place marked by indolence, and engulfed by an air of restlessness. The students of Suimei Academy carried that with them as well. However, the number of them present was rather sparse. Shibuya Station was about 30 minutes away from Suimei by foot, and on top of that, part of the route was uphill trek via Dogenzaka. Most Suimei students taking the train would fall apart at the stop nearest to the Academy Shinsen Station. Kusunoki Yua, meanwhile, took on the necessary task of walking from Shibuya Station. Waking up early for this did not cause any headaches for her. The heart of Shibuya was often suffocatingly crowded, but as soon as one began to climb up Dogenzaka, the number of pedestrians dropped sharply. Taking the extra time to walk and breathe in the refreshing morning air was something Yua quite enjoyed. Part of the reason why she chose to walk from Shibuya Station was to see the news displayed on the jumbotrons above Scramble Crossing. As she waited for the pedestrian signal to change, Yua appeared up at O-Front's jumbotron, just as she always did. And upon doing so, she gasped in shock. The captions running across the screen before her had taken her breath away. The headline read, "Third New Gen Incident." A certain boy's face rocketed to the forefront of her mind. A boy whom she did not know, nor had ever spoken with. But it was the face she had seen the previous morning at school. Though for Yua, that was evidence enough to convince her that he was the true culprit behind New Gen. Yua could recall the events of the previous morning vividly. 7 a.m., Suimei Private Academy. Yua marched quickly through the empty halls. It seemed that no others had arrived yet. Her expression rigid, she gazed straight ahead without faltering. Without a hint of restraint in her stride, Yua advanced onward, stopping only when she arrived at a certain classroom. Fuck me, it took 3 hours to get my daily mission done in Master Duel? Goddamn. What was your daily mission? The sign which framed the room number read 2C. Following a quick gaze to confirm her destination, Yua slid the door open without hesitation. Activate 2 traps? Bro, you couldn't activate 2 traps? Bro. Took you 3 hours to activate 2 traps? Goddamn. 2C was not her home room. As a third year, she should have had no reason to even set foot in there. Absolutely no reason at all. This was how it would be under normal circumstances, at least. Right then, she had a specific goal in mind. After methodically scanning the empty classroom, Yua approached the blackboard. She perused the selection of chalk colors for a brief moment before picking up a pristine white piece. Then, using intentionally poor handwriting, she wrote a single sentence on the blackboard. Whose eyes are those eyes? She whispered the words to herself after writing them, gently placing the chalk back down. She surveyed the room once more. Her whispers continued, for nobody to hear but herself. In the silence of the empty classroom, her intimidating voice echoed. She's like, I'll be watching you. I'll be watching you. That's me! Yua forcefully bit her lip. After she had finished her task, Yua made her way up to the roof to kill time until the students of 2C finally arrived. Then, 10 minutes before the bell rang, Yua returned to the hallway. Peering in through the door, she kept an eye out for anyone who might react to her inscription of "Whose eyes are those eyes?" And just as she had predicted, a certain panicked schoolboy was the one to erase the words. One look at his face, and she could tell exactly who it was. Nishijo Takumi. It can only be you. What? Boop, 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 boop. She muttered those words to herself, only for them to be drowned out by a speaker mimicking the sound of pigeons cooing. The pedestrian signal at the scramble had changed colors. The massive wave of pedestrians collectively ceased their standstill and began moving once more. However, Yua remained where she was, paying no heed to the possibilities that she may be in the way of those trying to cross. She simply stood in place, focusing all her attention on the subtleties, subtitles that appeared on the Jumbotron. Earth Machine plays one trap, and since it was in rookie tier, and the nature of my deck, none of my matches last past my first turn. Happens. It happens. Let's poison her. Let's kill Nanami here. Okay, she got her ending last time, so now we can kill her. Let's fucking kill her. Alright, another US scene. Let's do the positive. Well, we'll probably get a new scene around here, maybe? Oh, that was the swimsuit. Okay. McDonald. Hamburger. Cheeseburger. Oh! Kusunoki Yua was born with a twin sister. Oh yeah, I forgot. Wait. I had joked before about this game having a twins ending with the Nanami ending, but I forgot. She literally has... I mean, the twin died, but supposedly. Anything could happen, though, with delusions. However, she had died 1 month ago and had been ruled a suicide. The two were like a pair of couple necklaces, incomplete without one another. Their bond simply was not comparable to that of ordinary sisters. The shock of her death left Yua feeling as if she were only half the person she once was. That was how much she adored her twin sister. When she heard the news, an endless waterfall of tears sprang forth from her eyes. She collapsed onto her sister's bed, desperately searching for the girl who had been living there until only yesterday. Why did she have to die? Yua searched for an answer, for any answer at all, but found none. It wasn't really suicide. She would never kill herself. Somebody must have murdered her. These thoughts only fueled the flame of grief. Maybe, Yua thought, maybe she left behind a message that nobody found yet. Tormented by feelings of guilt, she began rummaging through her sister's possessions. When she did, she found a single diary. Within it were the words, written a lot of times, whose eyes are those eyes? Over and over. This was a clear cry for help from her sister. Even so, Yua had no idea what that phrase meant. With nothing to lose, she decided to search for it online. XX. National Elementary School Writing Contest. List of winners. Oh, no. Oh, no. That was where we wrote this, right? We are here to honor the talent of outstanding young people that are our future. We've received over 2,731 applications from all over Japan just this year. From these applicants, the National Elementary School Writing Contest sponsors, the Ministry of Education, and the Kaidoku newspaper have decided on the following winners. Winners, list of winning entries. Click on titles in order to read any of the winning essays. So we have A Raven's Hair, Tea Thinner, Plastic Printing, Caterpillars and Vampires, Whose Eyes Are Those Eyes, Armpits, ? Winning. That's all we do here. Castoride and Chino. I don't think any of the names of the people are significant. I don't know if they have any significant meaning. But those are names. I see names. Okay. Honorable mention, Armpits. Armpits gets an honorable mention. The grand prize went to A Raven's Hair. Okay. Takumi got second prize. Okay. Got second prize. It was mid. Among the results, she discovered a single essay, one that had been entered into the National Elementary School Writing Contest. It was a competition that had been held 6 years ago by the Ministry of Education. The title of the winning essay was Whose Eyes Are Those Eyes? Wait, what? Wait. Oh, it won second place. So one of the winning essays. Okay. The author's name was written beside the essay title. While the kanji could be read in multiple ways, the correct reading was clarified. Nishijo Takumi, a 5th grade elementary schooler at the time. However, that was where the trail went cold. She had no idea what connection Nishijo Takumi had with her sister's death. Oh boy, if you only knew. Then came an incredible coincidence. It was rather common for Yua to pass by Shoto Park on her way to school. And in that park, about twice a week, she would spot a lonesome schoolboy eating bread. As Yua observed him in his time of solitude, she somehow grew fond of seeing him. On her way to school one day, Yua happened to run into a friend of hers at the station. The two of them decided to walk together, eventually coming across the boy on the bench. Upon seeing him, the classmate spoke up.
あいつ、2年の西条っていう子らしいよ。弟が同じクラスでさ。
What?
引きこもりのキモオタなんだって。
I mean,
クスノキ、あんなやつに興味持つのやめときな。
Okay, alright, she's not wrong, but I don't appreciate people calling me that. Talking shit to me. Okay, listen, I beat armpits. My essay was better than armpits. So I think I deserve respect in this community, okay? Don't just call me the shut-in otaku freak. Call me the essay writer who defeated armpits. This is a very important distinction for me. I need this. Nishijo. Characters in his name would normally be read as Saijo. For it to be read as Nishijo wasn't... What? For it to be read as Nishijo was an anomaly. There was no way it was a mere coincidence. As soon as she could, Yua got her hands on the list of second-year Suimei Academy students, and there it was, that name, Nishijo Takumi. Still, the shared name would not stand on its own as a decisive evidence. It, too, could be merely coincidental. So, Yua decided to put her theory to the test. Whose eyes are those eyes? She wrote those words on the blackboard and watched as he trembled in fear. That was not the end of it either. Leaked eyewitness reports of the cruxification incident, which claimed a Suimei student, was spotted, fleeing the scene. Exploded across the internet. Yua had all the evidence she needed. Nishijo Takumi was a suspect, and he very well could have been the one who had murdered her sister. Oh, there we go. We skip. We do a little skipping. A little skip. I don't know. Positive? It doesn't matter. None of this matters. Alright, now we're in chapter 2. Okay. We have to get to chapter 7. We're gonna get there. Don't worry, you're not crazy. We're gonna call the police and I'll take care of you. You're cured, Takumi. Everything is fine, Takumi. Alright, we're gonna do like half of these things. Do we get any different results from that? What's it? Wait, how do I get, what? Was it this? Yes, it was. Okay. Oh. Acontium. What? Aconitum? Aconitum? What is the... How do I say this? Aconitum? Aconitum? Aconitum. I'm just going to say, okay. The memory of her bangle, the symbol of her love for her brother, taking shape as a blade. This is Nanami's D-sword, influenced by her strong desire to not let anyone else have it. Even the hilt itself is made of blades. This makes it impossible for even other Gigolomaniacs to hold or wield the sword. Okay. We are moderately delusional. Okay. All right, now we just sit around and wait. It takes a while for this to get to chapter 7. It's almost like there was a lot of shit for us to deal with. Bam, bam, bam. Ah, shit, new scene. And then the monitor was enveloped in a dazzling light. Taken aback by how random and sudden it was, I shut my eyes.
気づいてないと思ったのか?
What? I heard a voice.
いつも俺はお前の命令に従ってきたのに.
Neidhart? The voice was coming from the monitor.
俺の中の人がここまでバカだとは思わなかったぜ.
Okay. All right. Let's calm down with that. Who are you? I tried opening my eyes, but the light from before had completely paralyzed me. I couldn't see a thing.
もういい. 俺はお前を捨てる.
What? You can do that?
これからは自由に生きる.
What? No way, are you Neidhart? What do you mean you're casting me out?
そのままの意味だ. だからお前はバカなんだ.
I'm the one that made your character. You're gonna rebel against me?
そうだ. もううんざりだ. 何が疾風陣雷だ. 中二病にも程があるだろう.
Junie pissant.
お前にわかるか? 俺がどんな気持ちでそう呼ばれていたか. お前はかっこいいつもりだったかもしれない. 俺からすれば恥ずかしいだけなんだよ. でも俺は自分の言葉を発することもできず、じっと耐えるしかなかったんだ。
うるさい。生意気だぞ。そんなこと言うなら消すぞ。
You're getting deleted.
勝手にしろ。
Yeah, do it.
だがな、お前が俺をボタン一つで消せるように、お前もお前の中の人にボタン一つで消される程度の存在なんだ。
That's me. I could do that. I could do that. What the? He.
まあ、実際にはそんなことあるわけないけどね。
Or would it? No. I forced a laugh in response to my delusion and stared at Neidhart. Just as always, he stood completely still and silent in the world of Baselard. I think I'll take things a bit easier today. With that thought in mind, I resumed my play session. All right, chapter 3. Any new scenes we're gonna have in chapter 3? Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. And then she asked me to marry her in front of everybody, and the whole school clapped. Okay. Ring, ring. No, God, I accidentally did the neutral. Oh, no, I didn't. I did somehow manage to get it to... I think I speed ran. I tapped, like, the right trigger for the negative and the bumper to skip at the same time by accident. That was a speed run tactic. You just didn't realize it. That was, like, it was insane. Finally, a weeb has been converted to a normal person. Finally. Alright, skipping right along here. Ba, 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 da, do. Okay. Eventually we'll get to chapter 7. Okay, we've done both good and bad for this, so it doesn't matter. Oh, damn, y'all still here? It's an advanced trick. Busy with what route? Yandere now? We're doing the Yua route, which, yes, she's probably a Yandere. I mean, she is in some of the scenes. I don't know if she will be in the ending. But we finished up the Nanami scene, so now we're doing... Or, we finished up the Nanami ending, so now we're doing the Yua ending. We have to get there first. We already met all the conditions, now we just have to get to chapter 7. But there will be bonus meme scenes, setting up things in the meantime. We had a couple of those already. What happened with Yua? She's crazy. Yua has been stalking us because she believes we were the new gen cult killer, or whatever, who's been doing a series of crimes. The first of which got Yua's twin sister killed. The group dive was where a bunch of people jumped off a building, and she believes that she wouldn't have done it, and that she was forced to jump off the building and was therefore murdered. And so she believes we are the killer because of a phrase that we wrote in an elementary school essay. And then she started stalking us. It's a whole thing. Who says we're not? Well, we know from the routes we did before who the actual new gen killer is. And supposedly it is both the crazy, a nurse lady that we know, and one of the two detectives that was investigating the case. Note, every girl's insane. I mean, yeah. They are. They just are. Okay. Small private room only ways blocked out. Oh, no, I did the no dilution. Oh, wait, nothing happens, though. Okay, we're good. I thought we were going to get a whole different scene. Try and speed run us to get us the new content here, okay? Was it positive you do here? No, it's not. No, I had to be imagining things. There was no way the police would suspect me of anything. I wasn't a murderer. I wouldn't hurt a fly. Forget that for now. I'd just take a break for a little bit longer. My chest still hadn't stopped pounding. For no particular reason, I looked up at the night sky as my shallow breathing continued. I couldn't see any stars. The glaring artificial light that shone above the ground cast a thin veil across the Shibuya sky. It blocked out even the faintest light of the stars that had traveled for decades, for centuries, to get there, transforming the night sky into a flat and motionless blackness. What a piece of shit sky. But that was normal for Shibuya. For someone living in Shibuya, this sky was my sky. I returned my gaze to the policeman from earlier, and I jumped. The policeman was coming toward me. I had to avoid making eye contact. I stood up and turned my eyes to the road stretching under the overpass. The footsteps were getting closer and closer. I prayed from the bottom of my heart that they would pass by me. But
Gimme.
a voice called out, one that was clearly directed to me. Man, I joined so I could watch, but apparently I'm eepy. Good night, have a good one. Have a good one. Thanks for stopping by again. Stay safe. Enjoy your rest. My heartbeat, which had only just started to calm down, began to violently pound in my chest once more.
すいません。急いでるんで。
そうは見えないな。
What reason could this cop have possibly had for talking to me? I started putting a list together inside my head. 1. Because I'm alone at night in an unusual place. 2. Because I look suspicious. 3. Because they're just questioning people at random. 4. Because the police think I'm a suspect in the new gen case.
身分を証明するもの。そうだな。生徒手帳を見せてくれないか。
Damn it, I didn't have time for this. I need to hurry up and hide somewhere less suspicious. If I didn't, you would find me again. But if I ran away from the cops, I could get arrested for obstruction of justice. Not only that, but if they were investigating me because of reason 4, then bolting would put me in an even worse position. Regardless of the circumstances, I had to get past this cop, and I had to do it fast. With no other options, I took my student handbook out from inside my uniform pocket and handed it over to the officer. The officer took it and flipped it open to check my name and photo. Immediately after, something changed his face. His expression stiffened. What? What was up with him? Did my name really warrant that kind of reaction? Maybe I really am a new gen suspect. The police were mistaken. I hadn't done anything. Yua made up her mind to decide that I was the new gen criminal. She said I just wasn't aware of it. That couldn't be true. I didn't sleepwalk. I didn't have multiple personalities. Stop screwing with my head.
ありがとう。
To my surprise, the policeman readily returned my handbook to me. He then quickly turned back around and headed toward the park, almost as if running away. How he was acting spoke far louder than words. I had a terrible feeling about this. Did they actually suspect me? I stared at the officer's back, frozen. Then the policeman suddenly gave a light bow to the man sitting on the bench, or at least that's what it looked like. Something's off. Was it just my imagination? I knew for a fact that he looked at the man on the bench. I couldn't figure out if he actually bowed to him, or if it just looked like he had. The policeman left the park directly after that. The man on the bench looked like he was still messing with his cell phone. Looked like being the key words. It didn't even look like his fingers were moving. I couldn't even see him clearly because of the darkness. Normally the cell phone screen would be glowing, but the one he was holding was completely dark. Something's really off here. I looked around to check on everyone else in the park. Only the homeless people was slouching. Only the homeless people was slouching. Were slouching. Oh, one of the homeless people. What? Okay. One of the homeless people was slouching on the ground at the base of a large tree, a spot that was far removed from the others. He didn't move in the slightest. All he did was hold up a strange sign, his face staring down on the ground. The 3 or so homeless people squatting in front of the small hut covered by a blue tarp didn't seem to be having much of a conversation. They were just sitting around in a circle. One of them had their hand over their mouth. It almost seemed like they were doing it deliberately, like they were trying to cover their mouth with their hand and collar or something. Or at least that was what it looked like. I don't know why exactly, but something feels off. This is a strange sensation of tension seizing the air. Granted, it could have just been my imagination, but hold on. Is it possible that everyone was an undercover cop? That delusion floated up to the top of my head and I shuddered. I frantically told myself that it was nothing more than a delusion. But even if it was, I didn't want to stay here any longer. Time to run. I broke into a sprint. I ran across the overpass and headed for the stairs leading up to Meiji Dori. I stopped right in front of them and whipped around to look behind me. The man on the bench was getting up. None of the other people moved. His body turned toward me, but his head was facing sideways. He was making his way toward me. He seemed to be walking a little faster than someone normally would. He was chasing me. That man was a detective. His build was unusually bulky. I didn't even know what the job could be otherwise. I couldn't figure anything out from his appearance alone. I can't tell if he's a detective from just that. No, he had to be one. There was no way he wasn't one. He was tailing me. I couldn't stay here. I bolted down the stairs. Shit, shit, shit. Now it wasn't just Yua that was after me, but the police too? And I hadn't done anything wrong. I hadn't done anything at all. Should I just tell him I was innocent? But even if I did, I couldn't get away from the fact that I was literally running away from the police right now. Besides, I was sure that the police would find some way to pin it on me regardless. They would never believe an otaku freak like me. I didn't have time to think about what would happen next. For now, I just needed to make a way from get away from Yua and the police. That was the sole thought occupying my mind. Alright, and then we go back to skipping. Then we have this scene happen. Let's do this. Okay. Take a sip. Stay hydrated. What was this, positive? I don't even remember. Let's see. Damn it, it's a new scene. Rimi's cheeks flushed slightly in embarrassment. And then, having seemingly made up her mind, she whispered something to me.
私のこと
Whoa.
好きにしていいよ
Oh. When I understood the meaning behind her words, my brain stopped computing. I couldn't tell if she was joking or being serious. I tried to look away, but before I could...
しゃがんで
What? Rimi glanced at our surroundings, then pressed down on my shoulders hard. Without really knowing why, I obeyed her. I crouched down and leaned against the CD shelves, hugging my knees. Rimi also crouched down in front of me. I was completely lost. What the hell was she planning?
膝伸ばして
Oh no. Oh no. Did she want me to sit directly on the floor? I didn't want to act like such a DQN, but Rimi didn't wait for my consent. She grabbed both my calves and forced my legs to straighten out. I couldn't stop myself from sliding down to the floor. Oh my god, with a whole CG for it and everything. God damn. Right in the middle of the music store? Rimi. God damn, woman. Right as my legs hit the floor, Rimi got on top of me. Rimi put her index finger on Rimi put her index finger on my lips. She wanted me to stay quiet, evidently. Didn't know she was a freak like that. We love her for it, though. We love her for it. But doing something like this inside a store, as if she read my mind, Rimi started giggling.
ここインディーズのコーナーお客さんあんまり来ないよね
Nobody goes to the indie music corner. We'll be
こ
fine.
うしてしゃがんだら周りが見えなくなっちゃ
What was she implying?
うねえタク
Rimi moved her face in even closer. Her breath stroked my cheeks. It was hot. I couldn't avert my gaze from Rimi's shimmering eyes. I could feel myself being sucked right into them. It was like I was under some magic spell. Rimi was staring straight at me, just as I was at her. As we stared at each other, Rimi's hands began to move. And then she started undoing my blazer, one button at a time. Whoa. Nanio. Paying me no mind, Rimi's hand grabbed hold of my tie. With one pull, she unfastened it, and then she began unbuttoning my shirt.
ねえ人が来るそうだね人が来たら すごくまずいよ。
Oh my god, the Remy freak ending, finally. Despite what she had just said, Remy's slender hands continued to move. They artfully slid behind her shirt and onto my bare chest. Her cool hands slowly glided across my skin. What a bewitching smile. She had always been so cheerful and energetic, never once emitting any kind of sexual vibe or intention, but now the expression on her face made my heart throb.
タクの胸ドキドキしてる。
Doki doki shiteru.
リミってデラロス
Takumi. Remy, you're Terra sexy. What? I have to screen cap that. What?
テラエロス
Terra erasu? Oh god. I said that out loud. That alone went to show how shaken I really was.
それってどういう意味か
Oh, yeah, I wonder.
教えてよタク。
It means you're so unbelievably sexy. Remy's fingers steadily crept along my skin, and then they traveled down my back. It tickled. It felt better than anything I'd ever felt before.
私のこと好きにしたくなってきた。
Following my instincts, I nodded repeatedly. Takumi. In the indie music corner. I couldn't believe my own ears. Do it. Did she mean...
何を
And then we wake up.
おーい
Hey, get your head out of the gutter, Takumi. Suddenly, I came back to myself. Remy was waving her hand in front of my face, her eyebrows furrowed in confusion. I wasn't sitting on the floor, and Remy wasn't on top of me. We were just standing there, facing each other, like people normally did.
どうしたの？急に意識がどこかに飛んじゃってたみたいだけど。
Remy, listen, we just got a glimpse of a side of you, okay, that Takumi really wishes exists, okay? Some of us also really wish exists, but, you know, it's a whole thing. Don't worry about it. Calm down. I took a step back from Remy, turned my back to her, and took a deep breath. Holy shit. That had been the hottest delusion of all time. Hell yeah, Takumi. I was so fucked up. Not to mention a self-loathing idiot. I couldn't believe I just thought that. Actually, no, forget that. Remy was the one who was talking about giving me something in return. You'd see that line before in an infinite number of H scenes. Any guy who had even dipped their toes into the genre would have had his imagination go wild over it. Anyway, what was she actually planning to do for me?
その調子だと
No,
話聞いてなかったです。
not at all, actually. If you knew what I was thinking, oh my god.
じゃあもう一回言うけど、私のお気に入り CD を貸すっていうので手を打ってくれないかな。
は
ねえねえ、いいでしょ？お願いします。この通り。
Life was a cruel mistress, though I suppose it was my fault for expecting anything. Come to think of it, I wasn't supposed to be into 3D girls at all, yet I just had a delusion about doing that with Remy. Why? When I agreed to Remy's proposal, she delightedly struck a victory pose. That sight was so amusing to me that, despite the critical situation I was in, I couldn't help but laugh. No. I was probably just jumping to conclusions. I don't remember what we did for this one. We'll just do positive. Wait. Okay, I was gonna say, there's no way we already have a new scene again already. No shot. No shot. What chapter are we on now? Is this chapter 6? Chapter 5? What chapter are we? Bro, I literally, when we started this playthrough for this route, I did the ad break beforehand. And we're 15 minutes away from it starting another ad already. We have not actually gone to Yua's ending yet, because we've been having to do a ton of, like, skipping through. Jesus. Alright, well this goes to show how long these routes will actually take now. Just to get to them, it takes a while. Okay, so this is chapter 6. This is chapter 6. We're almost there. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, there we go. We are good to continue? Question mark? Yeah, we're good. We're good. Keep skipping, game. Bring us to a new Yua scene. Ugh. Alright, Takumi, find your D-sword. Get your D-swords here. Get your D-swords. Did I do this one last time? Yeah, I did, okay. Wait. Wait, what chapter are we on? I don't think... Wait, no, we definitely are locked into the Yua ending, so am I just supposed to hit no to all of these? Wait, hold on, let me consult my precognition. Okay, it doesn't matter, apparently. Apparently it doesn't matter. It doesn't mention specifically doing this, though. And we didn't do it at all last time. Right? We didn't do this at all last time, I don't think. Oh. Oh, I just got us killed. Oh no. Oh no. It's fine. There will be a quick load. Right to here. Yes. Okay, we are good. Okay, that was the wrong answer. Don't do that. Yes, we saw a sword. Yes, you distinctly saw a sword. If I move from here, I can take it. No. No, you cannot take it from here. I can see the sword in other places other than here. Yes.
君には失望した。
What? Okay, so yes, yes, no, no. Okay. Bro, this is bullshit. Or in chapter 7. Wait, I didn't have to deal with this shit the last time, did I? What? I didn't have to deal with any of this shit during the Nanami playthrough, I don't think. Oh, but that's because it started in chapter 6, not chapter 7 for that one. Right? Yeah, it did. Because he doesn't find her hand that time. He finds the phone. So I understand. Okay. So yes, yes, no, no. God damn it. Okay. Yes, yes, no, no, yes. All right, we understand now. Fucking hell, dude. I saw a sword. Yes. No. No. Yes. There we go. We're good. I don't remember what I did for this. Positive? Alright, chapter 7. Chapter 7. We're gonna make it to the Yua route. It's gonna happen. Okay. I don't know, was it positive?
それにしても
God damn it.
驚いた。
Hatsuki's eyes widened and she moved in to study my face
まさ
closely.
か西条さんが目覚めるなんて。
She made it sound as if she hadn't expected me to wake up. Was she disappointed? Was she trying to say that the world would be better off if a piece of garbage like me had just stayed asleep for the rest of my life? When she said that to me, I really did wish that I'd never woken up. But then Hazuki-san gave me an explanation that was far different than what I'd imagined.
あなたはこの1ヶ月近く
A
ずっと
month?
昏睡状態だったんですよ。
Also, your mouth is not moving, I don't think. It's a little concerning.
原因不明のまま眠り続けていたんです。
Your mouth is still not moving. What the hell? A month? When had I...
今日って。
落ち着いて聞いてくださいね。
What? You're not talking,
今
lady.
日は10月28日です。
October 28th? That checked out, at least with what I'd remembered. Which meant that it had been a whole month since I witnessed the crucifixion. I was at a total loss for
あ、
words.
そうだ。先生に伝えないといけませんよね。こんなにのんびり検温してる場合じゃなかったわ。ここで待っていてくださいね。すぐに先生を呼んできますから。
Lady, you're not talking. After she finished rambling at me, Hazuki-san bolted out of the hospital room in a panic.
僕が1ヶ月昏睡状態だった。
I stared down at my palms, mumbling that to myself in a daze. That meant that everything that happened in the past month had all been a dream. I couldn't believe I got slammed with the "it was all a dream" plot twist. But strangely enough, it didn't bother me. In fact, when she told me it was all a dream, it made everything surprisingly easy to understand. There's no such thing as D-swords or turning delusions into reality or whatever else. All of it fell apart the second I actually thought about it. It had all been an illusion, a simple delusion that I had created. I was pretty sad that meeting Rumi had all just been a dream too, but I wasn't being hunted by Shogun. I wasn't Japan's favorite punchline. And Nanami hadn't been kidnapped either. Oh, thank God. My vision blurred, but when I looked upwards to hold back the tears, Hazuki-san entered the room and her eyes widened upon seeing me.
西条さん、目が覚めたんですね。
You're still not talking. A gentle smile accompanied her as she said that. My confusion rushing back, I
お
froze.
体の調子はどうですか？
Hazuki-san held out the thermometer for me so naturally. I couldn't help but take it.
体温を測ってくださいね。
As I took the thermometer from her, I gulped. It's the same. The exact thing from before was repeating. It was as if Hazuki-san had just walked into the hospital room for the first time. I nervously reached for the thermometer in my underarm. I was sure I had put a thermometer in there just a minute ago, and yet there was nothing there. This one is probably not a delusion. This is probably Hazuki-san fucking with him because she's the killer. The thermometer had disappeared. And it just been a delusion? When did the delusion end and the reality start? Was me being hunted down by Shogun and becoming Japan's favorite punchline reality? My mood instantly took a turn for the worse. Alright, we're almost there. We have to almost be there. It's going to be Chapter 8, Moon and Sun. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Oh my god.
5分くらいなのら。
Okay, 5 mini minutes. Why is the stream thing not warning about ads? Because it says pre-roll ads are about to end. Why is it not giving me a warning about ads about to start? What's the problem here? What's the issue? Why is it not warning me? Okay. I'm going to begin the ads now. Because essentially it's about to turn pre-rolls off anyways. So we're going to start the ads now. We'll see you guys in 2 minutes. And then we will definitely get to the Yua ending. It will happen, I swear. It will happen. Okay, stay safe. Alright, 3 minutes. We'll be back. We'll be back. And we're back. Alright, let's continue. Let's get to you already. Alright, let's get to it. Did we do positive here? I don't even remember what we did here before. Maybe it was... No. God damn it. I see, it was a delusion. Of course. That includes the bloody DQNs from earlier, too. It has to be a delusion. It's just like Saratan, my wife who lives only in my head. What? No, I'm talking about Saratan. True. True, Saratan. I know. I'm sorry, Sarah. Saratan is still my waifu. Nothing's changed on that front. Besides, I don't have any memory of some dumb blonde character named Kosupi. Not even a little bit. Then who's talking? No way. Could it actually be the timid transfer student standing in front of me? When I thought that, the transfer student gave a slight nod. Huh? There's just no way. What just happened? What just happened? What just happened had to just be a coincidence. Maybe I'm mistaken, and it just looked like she nodded at me. There's no way any of this is true. I'm not a telepath, not even close. What the hell is an unyu? For some strange reason, the transfer student looks sad. Damn it, now even I'm getting somewhat depressed. If what you say is true, Kozupi, then prove you're the transfer student. What are your measurements? Yeah. Yeah, he is. So, you can't answer then. That means you really are just in a delusion. Ever, never before. Ever, never. Well, just give me your bust size. Just a general estimate is fine. The conversation floating in my brain was getting way too perverted. Maybe it was time to dial it back a bit. 73 centipeders. It was true that we measure things in Peter Griffins, okay? This is centipeders we're talking about here. It is true that the new student's chest is flat as a board, so that part's consistent at least. Incidentally, I'm partial to tiny breasts. Okay, Takumi, thanks for that. For some reason, the transfer student's face was a deep scarlet. Her already petite body got tinier and tinier as she made herself small. This is a coincidence. It was just a coincidence that the voice and her reaction were in sync. It's not proof of anything. Oh yeah, but I have no way of knowing your actual bust size, and I'm sure you'd just ask someone to arrest me if I tried to measure you myself. Okay, then how about your birthday? Well, there's no way for me to confirm if that's true either. If I could on a whim, go up to some 3D girl who I've never spoken to before and ask her, hey, when's your birthday? I would have become a normie a long time ago. When I thought that, the transit student that had been hanging her head suddenly started fishing around in her bag. She then pulled something out from inside of it and thrust it towards me with tears in her eyes. It was a student handbook, one that was practically brand new. Upon flipping open the cover, I saw a photo of the transfer student's face, the name Orihara Kozue, as well as her date of birth. Out of the three, what had really caught my attention was the day of the birth written there. It was November 13th. Alright, I should check the name. The transfer student's name, according to her student handbook, is Orihara Kozue. Kozupi. Wait, what? What did she say? Could this somehow not be a delusion? Alright, now we can keep going. Come on, we're almost there. Please, Kozapi. Please, we're almost there. Stop with this. I don't remember. Did we do the good one for here? And then we die. God damn it. God. I can't win. I can't win. Santa pursed her lips and then she nervously accepted the popsicle.
ありがとう。
I was lost for words, astonished. I would have never imagined that I'd ever get to hear Santa thank me. Likely unaware of my surprise, Santa glanced
お
at me.
前優しいな。
Me? Oh. Huh. Muttered those few words quietly, then immediately looked away. Was it just me, or had she been blushing a little bit just now? Well, she'd given me an honest thank you, which was enough to make me reevaluate her a little bit. I originally just thought that she was scary and nothing else, but she actually had a cute side to her.
さんは今ので今ので
Cosby spun around in place, peered happily at Senna's face and then at mine.
たくみさんのこと好きになっちゃったのら
Ooh.
小勢何をバカな。
顔がプッポーってな
Blushy crushy.
うるさいうるさい。
Oh, did she have any idea what she just said? The mother of all tsunderes, blue-eyed June's signature catchphrase. I started to grin out of sheer glee, and Santa's finger shot in front of my face.
お前もニヤニヤしてるんじゃない。
I had never seen Santa act so adorably agitated before. I was starting to feel a bit mischievous, so I decided to test her.
ガルガリ君は好きですか？
悪いか。
どの辺が？
美味しいだろ。
それだけ。
Is that it?
あと
And he's cute. While she was still sullen, Santa then said something that was incomprehensible to me.
かわいいかわいい
Has she just gendered a popsicle? Also, how could popsicles be cute? Or even uncute?
アイスがじゃないからな。ガルガリ君が可愛いんだ。
Crunchy Coon himself. Oh, she's talking about the mascot. Cute.
あのイガグリ頭が最高だ。抱きしめて頬ずりしたくなる。
Oh. The expression on Santa's face as she spoke reminded me of a maiden in love. Well, different strokes for different folks, I guess. Alright, now we can skip this. Thank you. Okay. Please. For the love of God. Alright, sun and moon. Moon and sun, whatever it's supposed to be called. I think here it said sun and moon. On my precognition abilities, it said moon and sun. So I don't know. Okay, sun and moon is that translation of it. So I'll change the title when I upload the VOD to say that. So it's sun. I mean, it makes more sense, but we'll go with it. Okay, now we can finally start this. Initiated by Momose, a meeting was slated to be held at Frisia Credit Bureau. A meeting to which Bond was now running nearly half an hour late for.
ちょっとワンちゃん遅いじゃないの。
Momose's angry voice hurtled into him as he entered the office. In response to this, Bond gave a minor shrug, then proceeded to walk up to the desk of Frisia's president with an amiable smile on his face. He had not brought any refreshments today, something he was beginning to believe may have been a lapse in judgment.
あら、つばちゃんは？
今日は別行動。
若い子をこき使って バンちゃんは楽してるわけね。
いやいや、俺もちゃんとやってるよ。おかげで最近の女子高生の生態についてはかなり詳しく。
I'm learning about the culture of schoolgirls. You don't understand.
あんたね、呆れて物も言
で、こうして俺を呼びつけたってことは、あの子と連絡取れたってこと？
今来てるわ。
さすがももちゃん。あ、ちなみに
Is she a cutie? Yeah. Momose probably smacked Bon over the head, stopping his opportunistic grin in his tracks. The sheer speed with which she had turned her wrist made the slap especially
い
fierce.
つまでもバカなこと言ってんじゃないわよ、エロ親父。
You old lech.
冗談だって。
Before arriving in the building, Bon had made a private request to Momose, and it entailed setting up a meeting between him and a certain person connected to the New Gen cases. Rather than anything work-related, it was merely to satiate a personal curiosity. He was not planning on talking about anything related to the New Gen investigations for the time being. And due to his position, Bond could not simply meet with the person on his own, else he would risk the ire of the detectives he was getting ahead of. Momose urged Bond over to a corner of the office. It was fairly cramped space, almost all of which had already taken up by shelves packed full of files. The location was used as a reception area of sorts, and a pair of love seats had been... I'm trying to figure out how much of this is just a copy of the scene that we had read before in the original ending, because when I turn on the skip function, it doesn't skip. So things will be different, but right now it's essentially the same as when he brings Yua to the office beforehand. So, Bon entered the section after Momose, and his eyes landed upon a lone girl sitting in one of the love seats. The girl was wearing a Suimei Academy uniform. Her head and shoulders were curved toward the ground, and she looked incredibly haggard.
ごめんね。お待たせしちゃって。
The girl looked up in startlement upon hearing Momose. In the process, her glasses had slipped down from her nose a bit, leading her to swiftly readjust them with her finger.
あ、いえ、平気です。
When she saw Bond, her expression turned slightly fearful, before bowing her head in greeting a moment later. Bond felt somehow hurt by this. He had made every attempt to look as non-threatening as possible in both bearing and appearance, but the girl's reaction made him realize that, despite his best efforts, the curiosity and intimidation particular to detectives was seeping out all the same. Looks like I've still got a lot more practicing to do, he thought with bitter amusement as he sat across from Yua.
楠木優愛さんだね。
はい。
亡くなったミアさんの双子の姉。
Yua slightly adjusted her posture, then returned a nod. The first New Gen incident, the group dive among the 5 high schoolers that had leapt from their deaths, was a girl named Kusunoki Mia.
まあ、そんな緊張しなさんな。君を取り調べようなんて思っちゃねえんだ。雑談程度に思ってよ。本題に入る前に、ちょっと聞いていいかい？ユアちゃんは妹さんが亡くなったことについてどう思う？
ちょっとバンちゃん。
あ、悪いね。気を使うような言い方できない。ただ、気になってたんだ。
バンちゃん。
Okay, these are all things that have already happened before, so I'm just kind of skipping past a couple of them until I see something new. Before Momose could rise to her feet, Yua stopped her.
私もおかしいって思いますから。
ああ。
集団ライブで飛び降りた5人には、だが。
Bond took his fan out of his belt and began cooling himself.
何も主張しなかった。あっさり受け入れたってなんでだい？
お父さんもお母さんも。最初はミヤちゃん、お父さんもお母さんもとても。でも次の日の朝。
Yeah, okay, yeah, we read this too.
二人はミヤちゃん、そうしたらお父さん、お前に妹なんて。ミヤちゃんが残した洋服とか、それはお前のために予備で。そうやってお父さんたちは記憶からミヤちゃんのことを消し去ろうとしてる。
つまり双子じゃなかったことに。
それで警察にもうちは一人っ子だって言って。
私とミヤちゃんは一卵性で、見た目は瓜二つなんですけど、あの子は、妹は親から嫌われていました。あの子はいつも自分の気持ちを押し殺して、
First came a memory from when the two had still been in elementary school. One day, some relatives had brought the girls a single large teddy bear as a present. In contrast to how raw joy Yua displayed, Mia insisted that she did not like stuffed animals and proceeded to not even so much as look the plush's way. Both her relatives and parents were upset with Mia for not acting as the child should. But despite Mia's protesting, Yua whispered to her that the two of them could share it, and that it could be something that they could both treasure. However, in response to her sister's kindness, Mia simply said that she did not want it and that Yua could have it. About a month later, Yua had grown tired of the teddy bear. He woke up in the night and happened to witness a certain scene. With the incredibly joyful look on her face, Mia was hugging and talking to the bear pledge. Okay, we've seen this too. Pretty sure. Yeah, deliberately scoring low on tests. Yeah, okay, we've done these, right?
私は結局ミヤちゃんの優しさに甘えてミヤちゃんがいなくなって初めて私がしかも挙句こんなの
それでゆあちゃんは一人ミヤちゃんに一体何が
そりゃあ大変だ。
そして一人の人物を突き
あ
Okay, when is it gonna be new stuff?
西条匠くんよ
なるほどね。
Stroke the soul's chin, lean
いつだっ
forward.
たか西条と追跡劇をしてたっていう女子高生の話は所轄のもしかして
Oh yeah, this is where she brings up the evidence, right? That she's gathered of him.
おーと思ったけどちょっとごめんよ。
Okay, interrupted by phone call. Check the screen.
もし
So
も
his
し
name. Okay, then he says the thing and then he runs out, right? Something like that. Sue was just fucking with him. It's just a little trolling. Or actually, is the death going to be different this time? Oh no, this is the gang that that tried to beat us up. That Suwa killed with like a kaiju delusion, okay?
どういう意味引き地まるでなんなの映画だ
Is this a new scene? Have we made it? Alright. Finally. By the time Yua finished with Bon and Momose and left Frisia, the sky had long since been covered by a thick veil of darkness. During the time she had spent there, Yua had explained all of the suspicions she had gathered from her investigation with Nichijou Takumi. Bon was a detective and Momose was the head of a private investigation agency. If she could get the two of them on her side, then perhaps Nichijou Takumi would finally be arrested. That was what Yua had been hoping for. Nichijou Takumi needed to be arrested. Yua had sympathy for the boy's painful circumstances, so she would have preferred it if he had turned himself in to the authorities. But since he had refused to do so, she had no choice but to get the police involved. That had been her plan, at any rate. But much to her surprise, Detective Bon had told her that Nichijou Takumi had been removed from the list of suspects. Yua found this news absolutely unbelievable. She did not want to accept it. Why had her theory been dismissed? It was blatantly obvious that Nichijou Takumi was behind Nugen. Biting down on her lip, Yua increased her pace as she hurried toward the station. She had to return home as quickly as possible, investigate the case from top to bottom, and find some conclusive evidence. And with that evidence, she would be able to prove her theory correct to Detective Bon.
あれ楠木さんところのお嬢さんじゃないっすか
Was this Sua? The sudden sound of her name startled Yua. Stopping dead in her tracks, the words of her homeroom teacher came to mind. Oh. No, that was not her homeroom teacher talking. That was the words that she's referencing now. Shibuya has become all too dangerous lately. Women really shouldn't be out alone at night right now. Remembering that warning, Yua froze completely. The voice she had just heard belonged to a rather friendly-looking young man.
確かユアちゃん
Run,
ですよ
Yua!
ね
Get out of there, Yua! Let's see, what's your first name again? Yua-chan, right?
あ
She felt like she had seen him somewhere before, but at the moment could not remember exactly where.
いや、覚えてないっすか？自分、諏訪守って言い
Ha,
ます。
check it.
ほら。
Making sure that only Yua could see it, the man took out his police badge and showed it to her, then quickly shoved it back inside his suit pocket.
集団ダイブの後、
Watch out, Yua, he's a
一度
wizard
楠木さん
and a
のお宅に
virgin.
伺ったこと
Get
はあ
out
り
of the
ますよ。
way.
その時にユアちゃんともいろいろお話ししたんすけどね。
Real nice people, all of them.
すいません、思い出しました。その説はどうも。
Yua bowed her head. The incident had really shaken her to her core, so much so that she genuinely could not recall Sua's face. However, their talk back then had indeed helped Yua sort out her thoughts regarding the bizarre nature of her sister's death, and for that she was truly grateful to him.
さっきまでバン刑事と一緒だったんじゃないっすか？
バンさんとお知り合いなんですか？
そりゃ同じ警視庁捜査一課っすから。自分の先輩っすよ。いつも怒られてます。よっぽど若い女の子と話せるのが嬉しかったんすね。ここだけの話っすけど、今日ユアちゃんと会うって自分に教えてくれた時の先輩、鼻の下伸ばしちゃってどう見てもスケベ親父って感じだったっす。
Oh no.
できれば自分も同席したかったんすけど、捜査から抜け出せなくて。そうそう、ユアちゃんのご両親には連絡行ってるんすかね？多分行ってると思うんすけど。
連絡と言いますと？
いや、集団ダイブのね、犯人が使ったと思われる遺留品が見つかったんすよ。
Ooh.
本当ですか？
This was the first time you had heard of this. With all hesitation now evaporated, she stepped closer to Sua.
ええ、どんなものだと思うっすか？ま、最近別の事件でマスコミが散々取り上げてるんで、
Darth Spider helmet.
すけど、なんとダーススパイダーのヘルメットっす。
Darth Spider Elementos.
それを集団ダイブの犯人もかぶっていたんですか？
そう、ネットに事件の様子を撮影したビデオが流出したっすよね。あれを、それにしてもダーススパイダーといえば例の渋谷エスパー騒動の少年が有名っすよね。西条匠くんでした。
Oh yeah, that guy.
なんで彼が集団ダイブの犯人と同じようにダーススパイダーのヘルメットを持ってたんですかね？
It's a little sus, don't you think, Yua? I don't know, that Nishijo Takumi guy. The moment she heard those words, dark impulses began to flood Yua's heart. She had been completely convinced. She had only begun feeling it a few moments ago. That all she needed was one piece of decisive evidence, one piece of proof. One piece to prove herself to Ban and Momose, and now she had it.
さてと、それじゃあ自分フリージアに行くんで、この辺で失礼します。
Yeah. And with that, Sua waved goodbye and left. All by herself now, Yua stared down at the pavement, utterly
彼
paralyzed.
らは
Her memories were to no one but
彼
herself.
なの。やっぱり彼だった。彼しかいない。彼に間違いない。彼が妹を殺したのよ。彼がミワを殺したのよ。
Yo. Hey, Nardhart-kun, I've been waiting for you. Because there's another new gen. What are you even on about? Insert ASCII art here. New gen, dude. What the fuck do you think I'm on about? How exactly did we go from new gen to new gen? Oh, we've already read this before. Okay, I don't care. I don't care. I've read this before. Bring Yua back on. I don't give a shit. Why does it... Why...
今日午前4時50分頃、東京都渋谷区の線路沿い、警察の調べ3人の渋谷では
Why does Yua's just repeat scenes entirely that you can't use the skip function for? They're exactly the same. Bro. Also, why do I keep sliding down on my chair? It's been very annoying. I have to be conscious of it. Because it keeps sliding me downwards like this. This is how I'm going to game for the future, okay? This is peak gaming stance. You may not like it, but this is how it is. It's an integral part of the story. Exactly, dude. We're going to chill down here. I've seen these faces before.
あいつらだ。昨日僕に絡んできた。
I'd given them my wallet, but they'd kicked my ass anyway. Oh wait, why am I reading this? This is all stuff that we already read before. I don't need to deal with this. Bring me the new scenes. This is all dumb. I can't even skip. Just now there'd been a knock at the door. Someone was there. I looked at the clock on my PC. It was past 8 p.m. When the reminder would show up this late. Wait, Remy, it had to be her. She'd finally come to save me. She'd said she would stay by my side, hadn't she? So it only made sense that she'd come back to me. Would it have killed her to come a little bit earlier, though? Feeling my salvation was at hand, I practically threw myself at the door. I then removed the padlock and opened the door. It's gonna be you, alright? I tried to call Remy's name, but a hand suddenly clamped my mouth shut. Panic instantly overwhelmed me. I didn't even have a chance to see what it was. I tried forcing the hand off my mouth. But before I could, my attacker threw all their weight against me, and I staggered backwards. Still, I desperately tried to stand my ground. I flailed my arms wildly, thinking I'd somehow help me break their grasp, and then opened my mouth wide and bit down on their hand as hard as I could. But despite that, my attacker remained silent. They weren't even phased. Okay. Fine. I'll sit up. Fine. I'm bitten down with all my strength, so they must have been in pain. But they still didn't let go. They pressed against me even harder, causing me to lose my balance. No longer able to resist, I fell to the floor, with them on top of me. The back of my head hit the ground so hard I nearly lost consciousness. My vision started to go blurry. I couldn't tell how exactly I'd landed. And to top it off, the assailant was still covering my mouth. So tightly, in fact, that I could barely breathe. My consciousness was starting to fade, so before I blacked out, I desperately tried to get a glimpse of the person who'd attacked me. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Wait, let me... That's a cool CG. Okay. Yua? Oh god, I completely forgotten about her. I was so focused on Shogun. His #1 underling slipped my mind. Realizing that, the sheer terror sent shivers down my entire body. I struggled as hard as I could, desperately trying to escape. But under the full weight of her body, couldn't move an inch. Under normal circumstances, I would have been focused on the fact that our bodies were pressed together. But I lacked the capacity for that right now. Now wasn't the time to be drooling over female contact. There was only one thing on my mind. I needed to get away somehow, or she'd kill me. Blood trickled out of Yua's hand where I'd bitten her. Even so, she kept pressing down with all her might, her grip just as intense as when she'd first grabbed hold of me. She was trying relentlessly to keep my jaw shut, to the point where her nails were digging into my cheek. A sharp, stabbing pain pierced through my body. Get you the kind of woman that will just suddenly show up at your house and kill you. I mean, it's goals. It's goals. Her mutters came between ragged breaths, much to my horror. I had to keep resisting, so I grabbed Yua's long hair and pulled hard. But Yua still didn't budge. All she did was grimace. Using her free hand, she grabbed my hand tightly and dug her nails once again. The immense pain forced me to let go, and then, using that tiny opening, she pinned my hands to the floor. Yua's glasses had slipped down her nose during the fight. Tears were welling up behind them, likely from the pain of me pulling her hair. Just like that day at Shoto Park, she was staring right through me with those cold, sharp eyes.
ました。
What the hell is she talking about? What is this? Was this the same bullshit as always? Calling me the new gen killer? I hadn't killed anyone. You came here to kill me, you dumb bitch. I tried to glare back at Yua, but hers was just too terrifying to confront. Nothing good could come from making eye contact with dangerous people, and I soon came to realize how true that was, how unhinged a look could really be. I looked away, wishing from the depths of my soul that I'd wake up from this nightmare, but
目をそらさないで。
Yua brought her face in even closer. I could feel her ragged breaths on my cheeks.
私を見て。
With how close she was, it was practically impossible to look anywhere else. Her breath was incredibly hot. I wanted to headbutt her, but Yua was pressing down so hard I couldn't even lift my head off the floor.
教えてあげる。あなたが知らないあなたを教えてあげる。
She gonna tell me about a second personality I don't
もう
have?
一人のあなたがいるの。
A skeleton inside of me? DID, multiple personalities, in other words. When we were at Cafe, Yua had said the same thing. But that was just some stupid fucking delusion of hers. She didn't know shit. And she sure as hell didn't know me better than I did.
西条くん、まだ知らないの？自覚できていないの？何も知りませんでしたって許されると思ってるの？
There's someone inside me that believes in me? God, I hope so. There's somebody inside of you, all of you, that believes in you. Even if you personally don't, they do. And if they don't, I do. Don't worry. Somebody believes in you. It's probably me. Are you thinking I'll let you go if you pretend not to know?
今まで何度も忠告してきたのに、どうしてあなたの中にはもう一人の人格、将軍がいる。
I mean, it's not exactly right, Yua. Shogun was a real person. I'm a fictional creation of his. We're not in the same body, though, but it's pretty close.
これ以上放置はできない。これ以上人殺しはさせない。あなたは早く病院へ行って治療すべき。それが嫌だと言うなら、私はあなたを警察に突き出す。将軍を放置することは西条くんの罪よ。あなたも人殺しに加担しているんだって理解して。
I don't need to understand shit.
理解できるよね。
I didn't fucking kill
理
anyone.
解してもらわなきゃ困る。
I don't have multiple
理
personalities.
解すべきよ。
That's the kind of shit you only see in anime and manga and shit. This is real life. I don't have DID, god damn it.
出てきて。私はあなたと話がしたいの。聞こえているんでしょう？
Wait, hold on. We have a first time chatter spam. We gotta get this shit out of here. Ban. There you go. Out of here, loser. Nobody likes you. Nobody ever will. Okay. Come out. I want to speak with you. You can hear me, can't you, Shogun? I'm not Shogun. You got the wrong guy. Shogun is someone else. I haven't even met him, for fuck's sake. He uses a wheelchair. He appears out of thin air like some kind of ghost. He's always reading my mind like some sick fucking pervert, and despite having the voice of a kid, he's covered in wrinkles like an old man. He's my enemy. Don't let me in with him. Just the thought of that makes me want to puke. Wait, wasn't you supposed to be Shogun's underling? I could have sworn she was working for him. But it really did seem like she genuinely had me and Shogun mixed up.
西条くん、自重して。あなたは少し眠っていて。
Oh.
将軍にその体を渡して。
Even if I do go to sleep, that won't fucking happen. I don't have multiple personalities, you stupid fucking bitch. I tried my hardest to say all that to her, but since her hand was still pressed firmly against my mouth, the best I could do was make a bunch of muffled
出て
groans.
きなさい。出てきて。出てきて。出られないの？出てこられるはずよ。出たいでしょ。出てこい。人殺し。
Detekoi. Tears began to fall from my eyes. I lost all will to resist, all remaining strength left in my body. I was so tired. Awful tired. Why? Why did I have to deal with this psycho? Why did I have to listen to all the bullshit she spewed at me? What had I done to deserve this? This was just too much. All because this delusional stalker had come to the wrong conclusion, and now no one would save me. Was I going to die by her hands? Even if I didn't. Even if I made it through today, there's no guarantee I'd survive tomorrow. Shogun could still show up at any time. Would I have to live the rest of my life in fear? Please, I didn't want that. I didn't want to live like that. I'd rather go insane and then get locked up in some mental facility somewhere. I'd rather die right here and now.
どうして泣くの？
Eula slowly began to remove her hand from my mouth, and then she started lifting herself off me. As soon as her weight was completely off, I felt instant relief.
将軍が出てきたの？
I shook my head lifelessly.
うざりなんだ。いっそ殺せ。
殺さない。
Oh,
私が殺させない。
okay,
あなたは罪を償うべきなのよ。
okay.
そして真実を語るべき。死んで逃げることは許さない。許さないわ。許すわけにはいかないの。
将軍は別にいる。ニュージェネの犯人はそいつだよ。
将軍はあなたよ。あなたなの。あなたしか考えられない。
My words had gone in one ear and out the other. She refused to listen to me. She was completely convinced that she knew the truth. There was no point resisting.
将軍、出てきて、出てきてよ。出てきてって言ってるでしょ。どうして出てこないの？あなたがそこにいるのは絶対に将軍を引き出してみせるわ。私は諦めないから。それまで絶対に逃がさないから。
This seems very solvable. It's, okay, well, you think I am the new gen killer. You believe I am Shogun. Well, here's what we're gonna do. You and me, we're gonna lock the shipping container up. Okay, you can watch me at all times, alright? And if while we stay in here for like a day or two, there's another killing, then you'll know it wasn't me. This is very simple to do, actually. Suddenly, Yua stood up and went to close the... Oh my god, is she doing the thing that I just said? Oh shit. She slowly picked the padlock up off the floor and used it to lock the door shut. Oh my god, I just predicted all of this. Oh no. Then she stashed the key in the pocket of her uniform. Why was she doing this? What was she thinking?
逃がさないから。
Oh my god, with its face. A faint murmur spoken to no one but herself, one that chilled me to the bone. Of the countless fast food restaurants located throughout Shibuya, every single one was always packed front to back with young people. It took a lot of courage for a lone middle-aged man to come into a place like this. After all, he was sure to stick out like a sore thumb. Those were the thoughts circulating in Bon Yasuji's mind as he sipped coffee surrounded by, on all sides, by young people chattering away. The drink in his paper cup was already starting to get cold. A single clear file sat on the table in front of him. Inside of it was a handful of photocopied documents from the investigation files, many of which were adorned with Bond's countless sticky notes. Bond had arrived at the restaurant about an hour ago, the location where he planned to personally re-examine the file's contents. As for why he had chosen such a busy place like this, he had been removed from the New Gen investigation team a few days prior, but he still wished to independently run background checks on all relevant persons. The copy of the report that Bond was sifting through, which was never intended to leave the police station, had a few images attached to it. One photograph depicted one of the victims of the first New Gen incident, the group dive, a girl named Kusunoki Miya. Bond's interest had been piqued the previous day when he had met with Miya's older sister, Kusunoki Yua. After hearing Yua describe Miya's personality, he had decided to investigate further. At first, he was also looking for rumors from around Shibuya, such as the high school girl with a sword, but in the end, every lead turned up cold. That is, except for Miya. After reading through the documents again and again, he still felt like something was off. There was a lot of information which seemed trivial at best, or at the very least not directly related to the case. But after putting the pieces together, something felt out of place. And when Bond had heard Yua's story yesterday, that feeling had crept up on him all the more. After all, there was something in the file that Bond could not ignore. a pair of glasses was found among the possessions of Kusunoki Miya, one of the group dive participants. That was the detail that rubbed Bon the wrong way. He took a look at the list of notes taken from various interviews conducted during the investigation. Taking another sip of coffee, Bon let out a befuddled grunt. From her birth all the way until her death, there was not a single photograph of Kusunoki Miya wearing glasses. Which I think the implication we're supposed to have here is that Miya and Yua did in fact swap places at some point. It was her sister, Kusunoki Yua, that wore them. He had even gone so far as to obtain access to Kusunoki Miya's medical records. Sure enough, she had boasted perfect 20/20 vision and thus had no need for glasses. Kusunoki Miya had been a quiet girl with an interest in anime, quite the contrast to her happy-go-lucky sister. Oh, anime, you say? Oh, jeez. You like anime? That all matched up with the description Kusunoki Yua had given. While the 5 victims of the group dive were friends, some reports suggested that their encounter on the rooftop was the first time they had ever met. Allegedly, they were online friends who had all gone together for an offline meet. Naturally, their online activity had been heavily scrutinized as part of the investigation, but there were never any signs of suicidal tendencies displayed by the victims. Furthermore, several hours before the group dive, 2 high school girls, who appeared to be twins, had been spotted walking into a fast food restaurant in Shibuya. Bon took a look around. He was sitting in the very same fast food restaurant mentioned in the report. Before sitting down, Bon had also taken the time to speak with one of the restaurant employees. The employee had told him that the 2 girls had chatted for a while, then proceeded to take a 10-minute bathroom break. What on earth could have taken him so long in there, Bon wondered. He stared intently at the woman's restroom, which caught him the scornful glare of every young girl nearby. Realizing this, Bon flashed a wry smile before returning his gaze back towards the streets outside the window. "18 excruciating hours had passed since Yua had raided my container. My hands had been tied behind my back and around the leg of my loft bed. Fortunately, I had been tied sitting down, so it wasn't too exhausting. Unfortunately, the rope coiled around my wrist was constantly digging into them, which was fairly painful. I somehow managed to doze off for around 3 hours during that time, but it didn't do me any good. I was still very sleepy, likely due to the fact that no one could get any half-decent sleep like this. Damn it, I wasn't into this S&M shit at all. If only I could hit decline on this RP invite." Yua was still sitting on the sofa, watching me. She had been doing so all night. She really had been putting her all into it, too. She did nothing else the entire time. Did she ever sleep? What was she even trying to accomplish here to begin with? Yua was convinced that I did something, that I had DID, but I knew that wasn't true. She could wait like that all she wants, and Shogun would never come out. She hadn't gagged me, and actually allowed me to speak right after she tied me down. Of course, I'd taken full advantage of that to voice the above thoughts over and over again, but they just went in one ear and out the other. After a few hours of trying to change her mind, I realized how obstinate she really was, so I just gave up. And after that,
あなたが将軍を生み出したんです。あなたが将軍なんです。現実逃避の手段。将軍はあなた自身であり、同時にあなたではない別の存在。もう一人のあなた。あなたの負の側面。あなたの弱い心を守るための存在。あなたの狂気。快楽殺人者。
every kill? I take pleasure in every kill, Yua? Really?
手段は選ばない。殺す相手も選ばない。殺すことが存在理由。誰でもよかったんですか？本当にミーヤはなぜ選ばれたんですか？答えて。
答えてよ。答えてください。答えてほしい。答えないと許しません。
Yua kept mumbling her pathological ramblings over and over and over and over again, never coming up for air. My room was extremely small, and my only means of covering my ears, my hands were tied up, so I had no choice but to listen. I thought I was going insane. On top of that, I felt as if I'd only gotten to experience the tip of the iceberg. I started trying to think of a way to escape. I tried pulling the toilet card to weigh my chances of getting out of here. But it didn't work. She did untie my hands and allow me to go, but she followed me very closely. She stood right behind me the entire time, never taking her eyes off me, even when I was doing my business. And to make matters worse, she even continued spouting those insane ramblings of hers from behind my back. How long was this shit gonna go on for? I couldn't even get some actual sleep. Because who knows when this bitch was gonna snap and kill me out of nowhere. Then again, even if I was awake, I wasn't confident I'd be able to defend myself anyways.
何がきっかけ？どうすれば出てくるんですか？肉体的苦痛？精神的苦痛？
Physical pain, psychological
性
pain,
的衝動？
sexual, oh,
トラウマ？
trauma.
偶然？
Yua's murmur suddenly came to a stop. But even then, she was still glaring at me. The room had become dead silent, and yet, given the circumstances, the stillness only served to make me even more tense. Suddenly, the sound of a stomach growling broke the silence. I hadn't had anything to eat or drink, so I was obviously hungry, but that still hadn't been me just now. Which meant that Yua was hungry too. Moreover, I was sure that I'd heard a stomach growling, but Yua's lack of reaction almost made me reconsider. Normal girls, Saratan for example, of course, very normal, would have had a way cuter reaction. Yeah, she'd most likely say something like this. Let's hear from Saratan.
何さ、しょう
Uh
が
huh.
ないっしょ。食べたいけど、すごく我慢してるんだから。
Yeah, yeah. That's accurate.
なんでって、それは前にあなたに太ってるって言われたから。でも別にさ、あなたに言われたからダイエットしてるわけじゃないよ。
You big dum dum.
ないでよね、このコケナス。
Ah, what a classic tsundere, as transparent as a glass window. Sarah, you're so cute when you get mad and blush like that. Sarah. Damn it, the situation I was in was really making me want to escape into my delusions. Look, we don't have any good references for sane women. Not in this world, we don't, apparently. Probably the sanest is Momose. Momose is probably the sanest woman in this whole story. Don't you want to eat? I would love to. Yua's tone was as ice cold as ever, but I mean, she doesn't have the insane eyes going on right now, so she's a little better. As I was still sitting, she lowered her gaze down to my feet. A plate had been placed in front of them. It was a plate full of pasta. Tarako spaghetti, to be precise, served with a finely cut seaweed garnish. However, it had already been sitting there for around 2 hours, so the pasta probably was all dry and sticky by now. Yua had made it for me. She tied me up and left without saying a word, then came back 30 minutes later with a heaping plate of pasta. It would seem she'd gone to the supermarket, bought the ingredients, then cooked them into pasta for me outside of the container house. What was she plotting by making me a home-cooked meal? I couldn't wrap my head around it. She could have just bought something that was ready-made at the convenience store. Maybe she'd poisoned it. The thought made me want to stay as far away from it as possible. Besides, it wasn't like I could eat it even if I wanted to. My hands were tied up and the plate was at my feet.
あんたが食べればいい。
Remembering that Yua's stomach had growled, I gave that sarcastic retort.
あなたを肉体的にいたぶろうとか、そんなつもりはないんです。
I mean, you basically are.
私はただ、将軍が出てくるのを待っているだけ。だから、食べてください。食べてくれなきゃ困ります。食べて。
この状態で食べられると思ってるの？無茶言わないでよ。
Yua stood up, walked up to me, and then she crouched down next to me. I looked away in fear, still holding on to the hope that she'd untie the ropes coiled around my hands. But of course that wasn't what happened. Instead, Yua picked up the plate, struggled to twirl the dry as hell sticky pasta with a fork, and then, when she finally managed to, she held it out to my mouth.
どうぞ。
嫌だ。食べないぞ。
I'm not eating that shit. Okay, open wide, say and its variants were events that you could only experience in Arage. This was real life. When things were this tense, all her feeding me did was highlight how murderous, her murderous intent all the more. At least in time, if you're gonna do shit like this. At least, if I was untied, I could pretend to eat some and go, yup, this tastes like shit, take it away, okay, thanks. But here I wasn't even afforded that.
レンジでチンしましょうか。
いらないって言ってるじゃないか。
Thought about knocking the plate out of her hand with my knee, but if I did that, she'd definitely get pissed, and there was no telling what she'd do next. The thought sent chills down my spine, so in the end, I decided to hold back the urge.
分かってください。私が西条くんにこんなことするのは、あなたを救うためでもあるんです。決してあなたを傷つけるためじゃないんですよ。
Uh-huh. The fuck are you talking about, Yua? Are you stupid? Wanna die? Who the hell do you think she was? She wanted to save me? Sure, it was true that New Gen, Shogun, and all that stuff scared the living shit out of me, and that I desperately wanted someone to save me. But that someone was clearly excluding Yua. I never asked to be subjected to this crazy bitch's delusions.
食べて、無理にでも食べて。
You will eat the pasta. There was cold pasta twirled around the fork. Yua shoved it toward my
食
mouth.
べられますよね。
Yua moved even closer, still glaring at me to
食
no
べて
end.
ください。食べて。
Suddenly, Yua stopped dead in her tracks. Why had this bitch come closer and closer every time she got mad? I kept looking away and clamped my mouth shut. She must have been insane if she thought I'd ever eat something she made. I'd end up with fucking food poisoning. You will eat the Italian good, Takumi. Mamma mia, Takumi. An hour or so had passed. My stomach was still growling. I was so scared that I wanted to scream, but I couldn't.
食べて。食べてよ。食べてって言ってるでしょ。
Literally, just for an hour. With the pasta on a fork in front of my face saying, eat, 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 for like an hour straight. You will eat the Italian food, Takumi. Okay, autocorrect. Autocorrect hates you.
食べて。
Eat. Yua was still crouching down next to me, staring at me, and she was still trying to shove the pasta down my throat too. She had stayed there the entire time in the exact same position.
食べてください。食べないと。
It was very sane behavior.
食べてほしい。食べて。食べなさい。食べて。食べていいの。
Eat,
食べなよ。
eat,
食べろ。
eat. She just kept on making her demands in a series of low murmurs, refusing to do anything else. I had a feeling that another hour had passed already. I was so creeped out, I couldn't even lift a finger. I was petrified. I was a deer perpetually stuck in the headlights. She hadn't hurt me or anything. She hadn't forced me to eat the pasta either. And yet somehow I felt more and more afraid of Yua with each passing moment. She was simply waiting for me to eat and nothing else. And yet I was still scared shitless. A normal person would have given up after about 5 minutes, but not Yua. No, Yua had kept at it for over an hour. If this were a normal version of this kind of thing, Yua would pull my hair, force my mouth open, and scream at me, "Eat it, you scum!" But she didn't. So I didn't have the slightest clue what in the hell she was thinking. She was a total freak. She was broken. No sane person could do what she was doing. She wasn't human. She couldn't be. I'm scared. 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 I was at rock bottom. I wanted to kneel down and beg for her forgiveness. My entire body was covered in a thick, disgusting sweat. I was enduring so much anguish mentally that I could hardly breathe. I didn't know what to do. I've never had a girl stare at me this close for this long before. But who the hell has? If we were a couple having a lovey-dovey conversation while we rubbed our noses together or some shit, that'd be fine, but no! No. You just kept on repeating the same shit over and over again. like a broken goddamn record. But this broken record never stopped fucking glaring at me. How was this even real?
食べて食べなさい食べてよ食べてください食べろ
I couldn't deal with her gaze on me any longer, so I dared to squeeze out a single word. My voice had gone hoarse.
食べるよ
Yua's murmur stopped. She remained completely still, in the same posture as before. I forced my mouth open. I nervously ate the pasta that she had been trying to feed me for over an hour. My mouth was already dry to begin with, and eating this withered pasta definitely didn't help. It just sucked away any remaining moisture I had left. I couldn't bear the taste, so I almost didn't chew at all as I choked the pasta down. Yua blinked a few times, surprised to see me actually eating, and like a statue come to life, she started moving again.
おいしい
No. No, it doesn't taste good at all, I thought to myself, but there was no way I could say that to her face, so I just gave a weak nod instead.
よかったです
Despite what she said, Yua still had the most deadpan expression on her face. I couldn't detect even the slightest bit of happiness. She moved the fork back towards the plate she was holding, and with it she picked up another clump of the dry, sticky pasta and held it out to my mouth once again. Did I really have to eat all of it? Would she not let me go otherwise? Give me a break already. Tears started flowing from my eyes. I couldn't hold them in anymore. I was just too scared. And yet, no matter how hard I cried, Yua didn't seem to care. She would keep on doing this until I finished the entire plate. So I ate, tears endlessly streaming down my face, and she kept on feeding me that dry, shitty pasta. By the time I finished all of it, I was both physically and mentally exhausted.
お腹いっぱいになりましたかなりましたよねなったはず一生懸命作った甲斐がありました
In contrast to what she said, Yua's tone was cold as ice. Then, at last, she took a small step away from me, placed the plate on my desk, and sat back down on the sofa. Death by lack of moisture from dry pasta is certainly a method. I mean, yeah. After sitting down, she looked in my direction. After sitting down, she looked in my direction and went right back at staring at me. And as she stared, she stopped moving. Don't look at me, damn it. Please stop looking at me. I did nothing but chant those words over and over in my head, but I couldn't say them out loud. I was too scared. Was she really going to monitor me for an entire day? This was straight up psychological torture. Just the mere thought of it made me even more depressed.
なんでこんなことするんだよ
I was crying now, but I couldn't help but ask that. I needed to know.
僕に何の恨みがあって
妹が死んだんです
Huh? Younger sister? For a split second, Yua looked like she was about to cry, only to quickly reassume her ice-cold expression.
集団ダイブの被害者の一人私の双子の妹ミヤって言います私は妹を殺した犯人を許さないそしてあなたにたどり着いたあなたの苦しみを知りました私は妹がなぜ殺されなくちゃいけなかったのかその真実を知りたいなぜ犯人が将軍が妹を殺したのかそれとあなたも助けたい分かってください分かってくれますよね分かるはずです
I thought back to the video of the group dive that had been uploaded to YouTube. Had one of the crying victims in that video been Yua's younger sister? I knew full well what Yua was going through. The same kind of thing had happened recently with Nanami, after all. But that didn't mean I could forgive what she was doing right now. This crazy bitch had broken into my house, tied me up, and now she was holding me captive. Yeah, no way in hell could I ever feel sympathy for her after all that shit. Alright. I had completely lost track of time. My room had no windows after all. I had no way to tell what time it was.
その目誰の目ってどういう意味
I don't
どう
know.
してこれから殺す相手に言わせたの
Oh shit. Hold on. Apparently, we're at that point now where we gotta run ads. Twitch is not doing the auto playing of the ads or the auto warning of that happening, but we got to turn them on again, otherwise pre-roll. So, see you guys in 3 minutes. Stay safe. And we're back. All right, let's see if we can finish this up. Let's see if we can do this. Why did you have the people you were about to kill say that?
どうしてダイイングメッセージとして残したの？あなたは何を訴えたいの？
Usually, I just check the time on my phone or my PC. Not that there were any other ways to do so. But since I was still tied to the leg of my bed, I obviously couldn't use either method. The only chance I got to check the time was whenever I went to the bathroom. But even then, it was a pretty small window. But the longer this torture lasted, the harder it got for me to get up and use the toilet. I simply didn't feel the urge to piss, likely because I wasn't drinking enough water. It felt as if I'd been deprived of all psychological phenomenon for over a day
ど
now.
うしてダーススパイダーなの？それを被ることで何を訴えたかったの？宗教的な意味があるの？ダークヒーロー願望。
You aspire to be an
それと
anti-hero.
もセランをバカにしたいだけ。
Wait, what did they say in Japanese? Dark hero?
ダークヒーロー願望。
Okay, dark hero. Or do you just happen to make a mockery of public opinion? You particularly didn't move an inch. Or, no. You practically didn't move an inch. Listen, I've been streaming for 5 hours. Give me a break. She simply continued sitting on the sofa, standing up every once in a while, only to sit back down right after. and her muttering hadn't stopped the entire time. How was she still taking this long, or still talking after this long? It wasn't like I could kill the time on my PC, nor could I make any calls or send any messages. I couldn't even sleep. All I could do was sit there and be assaulted endlessly with questions. Yua's mumbling was starting to sound like a mantra or something at this point. I couldn't stand being watched for this long. Sure, I had to cope with Shogun reading my mind, and the sensation of being observed by the gaze, but while those things did suck, I could still at least stomach them. But I wish I could say the same about Yua's unending watch. Her gaze was so utterly devoid of any emotion or wrath or warmth that it genuinely felt as if I wasn't even there. Like my very existence itself was constantly being ignored. It was outright denied by her. Regardless, the point is that I knew nothing about what was going on in the outside world, and I wouldn't. No, I couldn't, as long as I was tied up. I lost all perception of time. I didn't know how many days had passed since I had been tied up. I had a feeling that 2 days or so had gone by, but it sure as hell felt like a month. Being deprived of my freedom of movement was really successful. Okay, I can read. Let me take a sip of my water, take a deep breath, and I will read things properly. I'm tired. Being deprived of my freedom of movement was really stressful. Every minute of however many hours had passed, I would think to myself, I need to look at a clock. That was the sole thing on my mind.
それとも
Yua's head suddenly tilted. She took off her glasses and rubbed the eyelids that occulted her bleary eyes? I've never heard of that word used like that. Occulted her bleary eyes. She was only human, I'd imagine, so she was finally starting to get tired. She hadn't caught a wink of sleep the entire time after all. Listen, I'm feeling just like her right now, okay? Maybe she should have thought this through before doing it. She was just wasting her time. Nothing would come of any of this. This never would have happened if she just listened to me.
いつ出てきてくれるんですか
Her whispers were practically delirious. Come out. She must have still been talking about Shogun.
どうしたら出てきてくれるんですか出てきてよ
Unfortunately for you, he won't come out no matter how much you plead, because he's not there to begin with.
待ってるから待って
When silence took over the room once more, Yua's body slowly tilted over. With all her strength gone, she fell to her side on the sofa. Had she fallen asleep? Had her batteries finally run out? All right, this is where we just rip off the whatever we're tied with, because obviously we've gotten that ready for us to break apart a while ago, and now we just leave. I breathed a sigh of relief, and all the tension in my body released along with it. I hadn't had even a single moment to relax the entire time she'd been staring at me, and now that she wasn't, I could finally take it easy for a bit.
タッキー何のんきなこと言ってんの
Why aren't you using your noggin? Saratan's voice rang out from beside my monitor.
逃げるなら今がチャンスなんよ
True, Saratan. How do I get
それ
out?
どころかさ今なら無防備なユアッチを逆換気できるかも
True.
そしたらやりたい放題じゃん
Okay.
僕
All right. All right, Sarah, let's calm down. Oh, I see. So I can degrade her and train her into becoming the perfect sex slave. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Okay, Takumi. Takumi is a interesting guy. Yua was still lying on the sofa, but I took a nervous glance at her face. To be honest, if I ignored everything else, her sleepy face was actually pretty cute. It reminded me of when we first met, that gentle smile she'd had. And I obviously didn't know what Yua had really been thinking back then, nor that she'd seen me as a murderer. If anything, I saw her as an enemy, as one of Shogun's underlings. But it was her fault for making me think that. She was the one who deceived me, who'd betrayed me. So if I wanted to degrade her and turn her into my sex slave, this bitch had no right to complain. Is that how that works? I don't think that's legally how that works, Takumi. I don't think that's legally how that works. I peeked at Yua's sleeping face once more. Her eyelids twitched erratically, and her face contorted in a pained expression. Then from the corner of her eye, a single tear ran down her cheek. Could she be having a nightmare about her dead sister?
タッキー、調教師ないの？
Bro, how am I supposed to do that? I can't even get out of the ties or whatever. After seeing her shed a tear like that, I'd already lost the drive.
監禁されて禁縛されてるのに？タッキーって成人
Oh,
男子だ
Taki,
ね。
you're so noble.
優しすぎる。そこはタッキーのいいところだけど、
Sarah.
時と場合によるよ。
Sarah-tan. That's not what I meant. Of course I wasn't gonna forgive Yua that easily. I just didn't have the strength to be angry with her, nor to even resist at all. It was all gone, completely sapped. Was it because of the huge release in tension? Or could it have been because she told me about her little sister? It didn't really feel like Yua wanted to hurt me or anything, weird as that might sound. Suddenly I was struck with an intense drowsiness, and so I surrendered my body to the feeling, allowing myself to forget, if only for a moment, the pain my bound wrists were being tortured by. I'll think of a way out of this later. Sure you will. Sure you will, Takumi. As soon as I woke up, I knew something was off. Like something was missing. Still half asleep, I looked around my room. I tried to stand up, but the rope coiled around my wrists dug in deep, and the sheer pain stopped me in my tracks. The pain immediately reminded me that I was tied up, and the one that had done so was Yua. Oh, Yua wasn't here. So that's what felt off. I was the only one in the room. Where had she gone? Had she gone to make food? Or to use the bathroom? I didn't know how many times it had been since Yua locked me out. I didn't know how many days it had been since Yua locked me in here. But what I did know was that neither of us had been to school the entire time. We only went outside to use the bathroom or cook something. I wasn't even allowed to take a shower. I let out a heavy sigh. Yua should come back any minute now. And when she did, she'd start watching me all over again. Had Yua always been this stubborn? Or was it the hatred and regret she felt from her sister's death that made her start acting this way? Regardless, how could I make her understand that I wasn't Shogun? Maybe I could show her the messages Shogun had sent me, if they were still on my PC anyway. But let's be honest, we were long past that. Yua was fully devoted to the delusional bullshit she'd come up with. I doubted she'd believe me if I did show them to her. I needed something more concrete, something to convince her that Shogun and I were two completely different people. If only he would just show up here, then there'd be no way of denying it. Just tell her to open the chat messages. That'd kind of suck for me if that happened, though. I didn't want him anywhere near me. Besides, if he came to my base, it'd probably be to kill me.
ねえねえ、タッキー、逃げた方がいいよ。
Sarah, how do you expect me to do that?
私、あんな思い込み激しいストーカー女にこれ以上タッキーがいじめられるのを見たくない。
Thank you, Sarah. But I can't run. I can't untie myself on my own. I'd obviously already made my fair share of attempts to escape, but my struggle had proved futile. Yua's knots were tight, and no matter how hard I tried, couldn't even get them to budge.
私が3次元になれたら、今すぐタッキーを助けに行くのにな。
I know. I don't know. As great as escaping sounds on paper, Sarah, I think just doing whatever she says, like I've been doing, is the far safer option. If I tried to escape and failed, it could make Yua go berserk. Whenever Yua lost her temper, it was crazy how scary she got. So I was going to do everything I could to not to provoke her.
自分の命を守るために一番いい方法をちゃんと考えてるんだね。すごいよ、タッキー。だけど私さ、これ以上タッキーとあの女が同じ部屋にいるのは嫌だな。
As much as I hated to admit it, as long as I was tied up, I was entirely dependent on Yua to survive. Luckily, she hadn't been violent with me at all yet. She'd even cooked for me, and let me use the bathroom whenever I asked. She was still treating me like a human being. And I was sure that once she finally understood that no matter how long she waited, Shogun wouldn't come out, she'd let me go. Hell, even better, I was sure she'd beg me for forgiveness. Of course, I'd make her get down on her hands and knees, or else would be the point. And while we're at it, I could accidentally grab her tits, too. And then it'd all be forgiven. Yua would go back to her own life, and I'd go on with mine. She'd never see me again, and I'd never see her again. So, in the very least, the Yua threat would disappear completely. Or, if I was very lucky, there was even a chance that she would have a change of heart and end up joining my party. Shogun was still real, and very much a problem, so Yua could step up and replace Rimi as my protector. It'd be better than nothing. We even had some common ground. Above all else, Yua resented the new-gen culprit, and therefore Shogun. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Yua's interest and mine coincided. I'm kind of a genius. I'm kind of a genius, I must say. And so I decided to ride the storm out. Okay, where the hell was she? Yua still hadn't shown any sign of coming back. It'd been a good while since she'd left, too. Oh, we're just gonna die because she went out and got killed or something, and now we're just kind of alone, and we're just gonna die of starvation. Yua still hadn't shown any signs of coming back. It'd been a good while since she'd left, too. I knew for a fact that at least a few hours had passed, probably. Where in the world had she gone? Sure as hell wasn't the toilet. I could also rule out that she'd been grabbing dinner, since there was no way it would have taken this long. Every time she'd gone to buy us food, she just went to the nearest supermarket and came back shortly after. So where was she? Had she gone to school? I didn't even know what time it was right now. But if it was around noon, then it was certainly a possibility. If I could have just looked at the minimum attendance chart, then I would have been able to know what day it was instantly. It would have told me a lot, really. For example, if you had kept me locked up for 3 days straight and the first day had been Friday, that would explain why she'd been able to stay here and not go to school. Because it had been the weekend. In other words, today was Monday, and you had gone to school. That had to be it. It had to. What day it had been when Yua had broken into my room again? My consciousness was already foggy as hell, all hell, so I couldn't remember clearly. But what if she hadn't gone to school? What if she had gone back home, for example? These days, every slut in high school would stay out overnight without asking their parents, but Yua wasn't like that. Even if she had gotten permission, staying over at my place for who knows how many nights would have definitely made her parents worry. So knowing that, she'd gone home in order to pacify them. Probably. That made a lot of sense, actually. Well, regardless of where she'd gone off to, she had to come back eventually. So it'd be in my best interest to stay put and conserve my energy. Letting out a small sigh, I covered my eyes. I closed my eyes. Might as well get some sleep. God, I wish that were me. I couldn't sleep. God damn it, Yua, you had one fucking job. Get back here. Closed my eyes to try my hardest to doze off for hours on end, but I just couldn't manage to.
It should have been me, not him.
It's not fair. I ended up staring at the door, torturing myself over whether or not Yua would come back. There's a bit of a windstorm going on outside, so the door rattled faintly every once in a while. Whenever it did, I would immediately open my eyes, thinking that Yua had come back. But no matter how many times I thought that, she still hadn't. I was left all alone in this container, tied up like an animal. Since she was taking her sweet time, I decided I might as well try to break out of the restraints of my wrist. The rope that bound me to the leg of my bed was made of nylon, which is why I thought that maybe with enough force I could break free, and so I poured all my strength into my arms. But it was no use. The rope didn't even budge. Maybe I was just too weak. After all, I was a pretty big weakling in general, an otaku freak that did nothing but play vidya and surf the web all day long. There was no way I could have broken the cord like some kind of movie protagonist. Tearing the cord with just arm strength alone was obviously impossible, so I tried to think of some other way. Obviously, it would have been really easy if I had a knife or something, but unfortunately, I had no such luck. The only things I could see around me were magazines, manga, CDs, empty box lunches, that kind of stuff. Use a CD. You just got a CD.
ダメだ。
What do you mean? Use a CD. You use the CD, and you use that very slowly to try to cut away the parts of the rope over time, right? You could use a CD for that. I was hopeless. I couldn't even snap a single piece of nylon string on my own.
ユアは戻ってくるよね。
I unintentionally voiced those thoughts out loud, meaning I was basically talking to myself.
ねえねえタッキー、もしかしてさ、見捨てられたんじゃない？
Hey, it's a possibility. Abandoned me? As in, you had left me here to rot? As in she wasn't planning on coming back? If that was all true, I was screwed. Surely she hadn't just tied me up and expected me to survive on my own, right? If you're gonna lock someone up, then you should realize you're responsible for them until you let them go. Come on, that was just common sense. No, she couldn't have abandoned me. I was overthinking it. Yua was definitely going to come back. She still hadn't uncovered Shogun's true identity, so surely she wouldn't give up yet. Yua would never abandon me. He's a regular freak. I gotta get out of here. Oh, he's just a regular, not an otaku freak. This is fine.
知ってる？そういうのってさ、ストックホルム症候群って言うんよ。
This is all fine. Everything's fine here. Did you know this kind of thing is called Stockholm Syndrome? Yes. Yes, I always know what Stockholm Syndrome is. But you're wrong. This isn't like that. My brain isn't dependent on you or anything. As if I would ever warm up to that mental case, let alone fall for her.
僕もつい最近、ナナミのことがあったから、ユアの気持ちはわからなくはないとかって脳内で妄想してなかったっけ？
Was I lying to myself? Was I just forcing myself to believe I could trust Yua? Maybe I was. Stockholm Syndrome was a psychological phenomenon in which people deceive their own selves for the sake of survival. I'm sorry, what is it this one? Yes. A psychiatric term, Stockholm Syndrome. In cases such as imprisonment, the hostage is forced to spend an extensive amount of time with their captor in an enclosed space. As a result of this extended interaction, the hostage may begin to develop positive feelings toward their captor. Despite them doing terrible things to them, this is a phenomenon known as Stockholm Syndrome. It can be described as a state of self-deception based on the idea that building a trusting relationship with one's captor, rather than resisting them, will increase chances of survival. The name is derived from a real hostage situation that took place in Stockholm in 1973. I'm not gonna fall for a taco. Why did I say taco? God damn, man. Taco. His name is Taco, not Taku. His name's Taco. Alright, Taco Tuesday. Not gonna fall for a taku. If only you knew. But what else could I do in this situation? I had no other choice. I had to rely on Yua. Rimi had backed out, and Nanami hadn't come to check on me for a long time now. My parents let me know when they were worried about me via Nanami, but they never actually checked in on me personally. And the only other person that knew I lived in the container was Yua. Which meant the only person I could rely on was also Yua. Therefore, I had to lie to myself. It was the only way I could survive. I didn't want to die. I didn't want Yua to mistreat me, and I didn't have the courage to resist her using force. So that was why I decided to just submit. I wouldn't resist, and then if I waited long enough, eventually she'd understand. That was the only way an otaku freak like me would be able to survive. I would trust in Yua. I would trust in her by lying to myself. And then, I'd make it out of this without anyone getting hurt.
あんなストーカーメガネ女を信じちゃダメだよ。タッキーゆとりすぎ。
For the first time in my life, I completely ignored what Saratan had to say. Damn. You know it's bad when that happens. So please, come back soon, Yua. You're coming back, right? And then it happened. Without warning, the door burst open. It caught me completely by surprise, and I immediately froze. I could finally see outside. The sky was dyed orange by the setting sun, and there, obstructing my view of it, was Yua. It was a relief from the bottom of my heart to see her there. Realizing that I hadn't been abandoned nearly made me cry tears of joy. I was a little disgusted with how easily I'd been tamed. But my disgust was immediately overshadowed by the intense feeling of relief.
おかえり。
Welcome back. I had no one else, so I was forced to be dependent on her. That was why something so fucking stupid had That was why something so fucking stupid had somehow come out of my mouth. But
あなた邪魔だわ。
what did I
西
do?
条くん
I didn't do anything. Yua quickly walked over to me, crouched down to meet me at eye level, and then she grabbed my hair and yanked on it hard.
邪魔なの。あなたがいなければ将軍は出てくるはず。なんでいるの？自重してよ。少し
Have some self-respect.
あなたと話しても意味ない。私はあなたと話したいんじゃ。出して。将軍を出し。
Yua was acting weird. Was she getting impatient because Shogun wouldn't come out? Did that mean that she was going to resort to some drastic measures? This wasn't what I'd planned. I'd believed in her. I trusted that she wouldn't go berserk on me. Was she about to betray me again? Or we're gonna get to a point where we're just gonna pretend like we're Shogun. We're gonna get to that point. Who am I kidding? I'm the only one who feels betrayed. I was forced to face reality. I had to decide to place all my trust in Yua all on my own. She never asked me to, not once. Had I just been naive? It was just because I was an otaku freak and a shut-in too, wasn't it? I knew pretty much nothing about human interaction because of those things, so tricking me was like taking candy from a baby. If I was right about this, then I had been right about everything. Nothing good could come from 3D. It was time for me to become a real shut-in, but this time, I locked myself in the 2D world.
見て。
US thrusted something in front of my face. It was a notebook of some kind.
妹の日記です。家に戻って取ってきたんです。これを読んで、あなたは知るべきです。妹は、ミヤちゃんは、集団ダイブが起きるもっと前からあなたに、いえ、
Ever since before.
ストーカーされていたんですよ。だから集団ダイブは5人を殺すのが目的だったんじゃない。
Only Mia?
巻き添え
That's
ミヤちゃん一人だった。
that's a bit of a stretch.
そうでしょう。そうよね、将軍。答えて。出てきて。答えなさい。
Yua's voice was getting more and more hysterical. My fear of her had come back full force. My heart was beating out of my chest. My entire body trembled. But even so, I still couldn't accept what Yua was accusing me of. It was just a bunch of delusions she'd come up with. Nothing but pure falsehoods. I had never even met Yua's sister. I desperately shook my head from side to side, but she grabbed my hair so tight that the pain kept me from moving very much.
まだ出てこないつもりですか。
Yua's face drew in even closer, close enough to whisper in my ear. And then she brought the diary even closer to my face.
見て。
Yua's diary.
苦しみを見なさい。
That says Yua's diary, miss. That doesn't say Mia. That says Yua. She forced me to look up. Then, while still holding the diary with one hand, Yua started dexterously turning the pages. And what I saw written there sent a chill down my spine. Again, this is from Yua's diary. What is this? What the hell is
日
this?
記の最後のページ。ミヤが最後に書き残した。その誰の日付は9月6日。集団ダイブでミヤが殺された前日です。
将軍だ。あいつに思考盗撮されてたんだ。
Yeah, only now is she acting weird. Not before, though. Not before.
違うでしょ。違うわ。ストーカーされている将軍に、あなたに。
僕は将軍じゃ。
あなたの中にいる将軍にです。
だから言ってるじゃないか。将軍は他にいるんだ。
将軍は西条匠です。
No.
言い逃れしないで、その目誰の目というあなたが昔書いた作文がその証拠です。他にもいくつもの状況証拠がある。あなたしか考えられない。 考えられない。あなたじゃなきゃおかしい、妹は。
That's not true. That's not true at all. I don't sleepwalk, and I don't have multiple personalities either. Shogun does exist, but he isn't me. He's someone else, I swear.
どう思う？この日記を見てどう思う？ミヤを追い詰めて殺して満足？こんな日記を書かせるぐらい追い詰めて満足？どうしてミヤにこんなひどいことをしたの？どうしてミヤを殺したの？どうして？
ユアは間違ってる。
Everything you say is wrong.
間違ってるのはあなたよ。あなたは人を殺した。殺したじゃない。人殺し。
だってこの日記はユアの日記じゃないか。
True.
なんです？
Yua looked puzzled. It stuck out to me like a sore thumb ever since I'd first seen it. It was written on the front cover. Yua's diary. At first, I thought I was just mistaken or something, but Yua had said exactly whose diary she thought it was.
妹の日記です。
But if it was her sister's diary, shouldn't it have said Mia's diary?
これはユアの日記だ。表紙にそう書いてある。
何言ってるの？
Yua deliberately avoided looking at the front cover.
これはミヤちゃんのよ。死んだミヤちゃんの日記。あなたに殺されたミヤちゃんの。ミヤちゃんのなのよ。ミヤちゃんが書いた。死ぬ
No.
前に書いたの。
No.
だったら表紙を見てよ。
Terrified and nervously pointed at the notebook. Without showing a hint of hesitation, Yua closed it and took a look at the cover. When she did, she turned back towards me and said,
やっぱりミヤちゃんの日記だわ。
Oh no. Well, look who's having delusions now. Huh. She must have seen it just now. There's no way she hadn't. Yua's diary was written there, written in bright red marker. So, how had she...
これはミヤちゃんが書いた日記。私を騙そうとしたの。騙されるわけないでしょ。私はミヤちゃんとずっと一緒に育ってきたんだから。生まれてからずっと一緒だったんだから。あなたなんかよりずっと知ってるの。
ユアには見えないの。はっきり書いてあるじゃないか。それはユアの日記。
Oh shit. Yua's hand suddenly shot up to her temples. Her face was warped in pain.
違う。この日記は私じゃなくてミヤちゃんが。私。西条君に。
You mean to tell me the whole time it was you who had multiple personalities? Yeah, we knew that. After all, there's no way of knowing Nishijo-kun.
あなたは DID 多重人格なんです。
I mean, this was the most obvious plot point in the world.
君は誰だ？
私はユア。私は。
Could it be that I'd never been the one with DID? It'd been you all along?
楠木ミヤなんて実在するの？
Had the police ever officially announced the identities of the group dive victims? Since she was a minor, they would have just called her Girl A or something, right? Or...
ユアに双子の妹なんて本当にいたの？
Ooh. Wait a minute. Wait, but then why did Bon invite her there to talk with them? And then talked about the sister? Wait. What happened? Wait, what's going on? While it was certainly possible that someone named Kusunoki Miya had existed and had died in the group dive, it was also possible that they were completely unrelated to Kusunoki Yua, the person standing in front of me right now. Oh. That makes sense. Because Bond had said the other detectives went to question the police about Mia, and they said they never had a daughter named Mia. Because they had you as their daughter. I see. They could have simply been someone with an extremely similar name.
ヒルア
Suddenly, Yua wrapped her hands around my neck. Her fingers were oh so slender, and yet they harbored a terrifying amount of strength within them. I couldn't breathe.
いたわよミヤちゃんは確かにいたはっきり覚えてるもの
証明できるの？
Yua's grasp weakened.
自分は DID じゃないって楠木宮じゃないって証明できるの？
I, for one, couldn't prove that I wasn't my alter ego. After all, the only way to prove that I wasn't Shogun would have been for him to show up next to me.
できるわ
Yua took her hands off my neck. She let the notebook fall to the floor.
ミヤちゃんにはほくろがあった
Oh? Oh? Oh, she had a mole? Yua slowly began to remove her uniform top. Okay, I saw this coming.
左胸の下そこにほくろがあった
Okay.
私にはないほくろ
And you don't? She unbuttoned her blouse one button at a time, her hands trembling impatiently as she did. Whoa, whoa! Oh, I mean, there's the mole. But she didn't stop there. She went on to remove her bra, too. Her voluptuous breasts were covered only by her hands. She fumbled around, searching for a certain spot on her skin. I searched, too, with my eyes, with my eyeballs. And just under her left breast was a mole.
ある
あるよ。
There's one there.
どうして私にはほくろはないはずなのに
Well, you do.
私誰
Yua's face grew pale as a ghost, and her lips trembled in fear. Her eyes swam in place, gazing into the abyss as she wrapped her arms around herself. She didn't even care. She was still half naked.
私はユア私はずっといい子でミヤちゃんはずっと悪い子で私はずっといい子になりたくミヤちゃんはユアちゃんが大好きでユアちゃんはミヤちゃんが心配で
Her ramblings gradually turned even more incoherent. I was pretty freaked out. But I knew I just couldn't abandon her and make a run for it. I knew full well exactly what mental state she was in, because I, till a moment ago, had been in the same exact one. From the moment you had told me I had DID, I'd been suffering from non-stop anxiety, instability, so I really did understand. I knew what it was like to feel like your entire existence was one step away from crumbling to dust. I didn't know if she was suffering from DID, or if it was something else entirely. But what I did know was that there was something wrong with her. And there always had been. I knew people could be two-faced, but she was far, far too good at it. It was still hard to believe that she'd been acting when we first met. The difference between her back then and when she snapped was like night and day. Sun and moon, one might say. So much so that it didn't even feel like the same person.
ユアは DID なんじゃ。
We pulled out the Uno reverse on her.
違うちゃんといたちゃんといたのミヤちゃんはちゃんといた
Uh-huh. Still covering her breast with one arm, Yua fished for something in the top she'd just taken off. She then took out her phone, hit a few buttons, and showed it to me.
見てここにいる私たちがいるでしょ
Oh.
あ
Was that... Oh. That's... Okay. Is it Photoshop? I don't know. She did exist. There were definitely two people on the screen there, and the image didn't look edited either. The two looked eerily similar in that picture. Although they were twins, the only difference was that one had glasses and the other didn't. Even their hairstyle was the same.
私はここにいる
君はどっちなんだ？
私は
Pointed to the one on the left. Oh, and then okay, all right. So it's not one of those deals where they never had a sister. It's just literally the meme of Yua is actually Mia the whole time. That's where we're getting at with this. I understand. Right at that moment, the floor started shaking violently. An earthquake, even bigger than the last one. I was struck with a violent ringing in my ears. It was such an intensely shrill, resonant sound, my head felt like it was about to burst open. Yua grabbed her head and fell to her knees. I wanted to do the same, but my hands were tied up, so I couldn't. It felt like my ears were being pierced by thousands upon thousands of needles. And then... I was hit by an enormous impact, and a blinding light dyed my vision completely white. Okay, show me the delusion that we have with Yua now.
あの日、私たちは入れ替わった。
Yep, I gathered that. At the Shibuya McD, a large wave of students arrived as soon as evening hit. I could hear the high-pitched voices of high school girls joyfully chatting away with one another. I took a moment to look out the window, and then I took out my phone. It was now 5:02 p.m. on September 7th, 2 minutes past the time she was supposed to be here. I took a bite out of my chicken sandwich, feeling a little bit annoyed.
ごめん、みやちゃん。待たせちゃった？
Yua-chan appeared, tray in hand, and sat down in front of me. I let out a small sigh.
うん、待った。5分くらいは待たしてほしいな。あ、みやちゃんもチキンバーガー？私もだよ。
She pointed to the chicken sandwich on her tray. The two of us were twins, so it was only natural that we'd have the same preferences. She really didn't need to point out every little time that we had something in common, but she happily did so anyway.
みやちゃんとこうして渋谷で会うのって初めてだよね。
I didn't go to school in Shibuya, and the two of us saw each other only at home all the time. And the two of us each saw us at home all the time. So we just didn't have any reasons or opportunities to meet up in Shibuya. That was all there was to it.
私にお願いしたいことって何？私にできることなら何でも言ってね。
I took the last bite of my chicken sandwich, sipped on some iced tea, and then I leaned towards Yua-chan.
実はこれから人と会うんだけど、彼氏？
Ooh, a date?
そんなんじゃない。今まで一度も会ったことない人たち。タッチって何人？4人かな。どういう関係なの？ネットで知り合った人。別にやましい関係とかじゃないから。アニメのファンサイトみたいな掲示板があ
Yeah,
る
it's
ん
just
だ
for
けど。
anime fans. Nothing bad's gonna happen.
へえ。私インターネットなんて全くやらないからよくわからないけど、そうやってネットで知り合うことってよくあるの？まあね。でもオフ会は私も初めてで。みやちゃん人見知りだもんね。人見知りじゃない。人に合わすのが苦手なだけ。そういうことにしておいてあげる。で、大丈夫なの？初めての人たち相手にうまく話せそう？本当は会おうと思ってたんだけど、今になってやっぱり。
Would you like to switch places and you go meet them first?
怖くなっちゃったんだ。めんどくさくなっただけ。でもドタキャンするのも悪いし、私が代わりに行けばいいのね。
Yua-chan was really perceptive. She had understood what I was trying to say before I had even finished my sentence. Usually, that was more annoying than it was helpful. But this time, I was glad that I didn't have to explain everything.
そういうこと。お願いしていい？別にいいけど、みやちゃんはそれでいいの？友達を作れるチャンスなのに。そんな小学生みたいな扱いしないでよ。別に友達を作りたいわけじゃないし。もうみやちゃんは本当に意地っ張りなんだから。うん、分かった。私は楠木みやになりきればいいのよね。そこまでしなくてもいいけど、どうせならとことんやった方が面白いじゃない。そうだ、制服も入れ替えようよ。
なんでそんなにはしゃいでるの？みやちゃんから頼み事されるなんてめったにないでしょ。ゆあちゃん、バカみたい。どうせバカなお姉さんですよーだ。ほら、そうと決まれば着替えちゃおうよ。
Yua forcefully pulled me by the hand. Yua-chan. Specifically, Yua-chan. We went into the private bathroom, and after a couple minutes, we swapped all clothing and personal effects.
みやちゃん、水面の制服似合うね。きっとお父さんやお母さんでもどっちがどっちなのか見分
Okay,
け
so
つかない
this is
よ。
what Bon, when Bon was like, why were they in the bathroom for a while? And it was to swap clothes. Okay.
あ、でもメガネかけてたら一発でバレちゃうかな。これも外して行くのはちょっと難しいかも。何も見えなくなっちゃう。初対面の相手なんだからここまでしなくてもよかったのに。もうまだ言ってるし、待ち合わせの時間そろそろなんでしょ。それまで打ち合わせしておこうよ。私アニメのことちっとも
I
わか
don't
らな
know
い
a
けど
thing about anime,
何を
but I'll
話せ
go
ばいいの？
pretend to be you and talk to your anime friends.
適当に相槌打ってればいいよ。どうせ一回こっきりしか会わない
Just
人
talk
たち
about
なんだし。
Bloodtoon. Just mention Bloodtoon and they'll talk about Saratan. You don't even have to say anything.
そんなことないよ。この出会いを通してお友達付き合いすることになるかもしれないでしょ。もしかしたら彼氏もできちゃうかも。
Ooh, maybe even a
興
boyfriend.
味ない。
Not
ある
interested.
くせになかったら会う約束なんてしないもの。うるさいな。頑張って楠木美也はとってもいい子ですっていうのを印象づけてくるね。本当にそういうのはいいってば。
If she did that, it'd be even harder for me to go the second time. I just wasn't as sociable as she was.
それじゃ行ってくるね。よろしく。そこまで頑張らなくていいから。はいはい。じゃあね、みやちゃん。
Yua-chan smiled and waved goodbye, wearing my uniform, holding my bag, and then she disappeared into the crowd to Shibuya as none other than Kusunoki Miya. And then she died. And it's all my fault. And by my fault, I mean Miya-chan's fault. AKA Yua-chan. Yes. That had been the last time I'd ever seen Yua-chan. And then I'd gone home, waiting for her to come back. Only to see that case on the news. All right, waking up from the earthquake. When I came to, my headache was so bad, it felt like it was splitting in two. The first thing I realized was that I was pinned under my bed. The second was that the bed had fallen on top of me. So not only was my head about to burst from the pain, but the back was too under the weight of... What? So not only was my head about to burst from the pain, but my back was too under the weight of the bed. The only thing I could move were my eyes, which allowed me to witness the sheer devastation of my room. Yua was slumped against the wall, staring off in a daze. She had been half naked before the earthquake hit, but it seemed like she put her clothes back on. Before, she'd been completely topless, while also keeping her glasses on, which had honestly brought some life back into me, based. But now, glasses had fallen to her feet. The lenses were cracked. This is why he's shouting, help me. He's like, no, not the glasses! Not the bespecklacled beauties! Oh no! It took nearly everything in me, but I managed to fight through the headache, call out to Yua. With the most empty eyes, she looked at me.
思い出したの。
Literally? Wait, what? Oh, I remember. Literally, who cares? I don't give a shit about what you remember. Just untie me already. I can't move under this thing.
思い出したのよ。
The bifocalism is the thing keeping him alive. Something's gotta. I finally remember. Yua slowly got up and easily untied the tight knot. Almost too easily, in fact, considering how dark it was, and how she wasn't wearing her glasses. Finally, a free man, I managed to slip out from under the bed. But that was about as far as I went. My head felt as if it was being cracked open, just like it had during the previous earthquakes. Even standing up felt impossible, so I endured the pain on all fours.
ユアちゃんだったのよ。
Yua was once again mumbling something in a low voice.
集団ダイブで死んだのはミアじゃない。ユアちゃんだった。
ユア、何を。
私はユアじゃない。
A wry smile spread across Yua's lips.
私はミアよ。自分をユアちゃんだって思い込んでただけ。あの日私たちは入れ替わったの。それでユアちゃんは死んだ。
It's her literally saying, it should have been me, not him. Suddenly, the expression on Yua's face disappeared, complementing the empty eyes that had yet to leave her, and then she extended her hand toward me.
西条くん、もう将軍の
It should have been me, not him! It's not fair!
I have to remember to turn down that alert specifically. It's like way louder than all the other ones. I don't care about Shogun
結
anymore.
局ユアちゃんは私が死なせたようなものだから。ねえ、一緒に来てほしい。
どこへ。
ユアちゃんが死んだ場所。一緒に来てくれるだけでいい。お願い。
I don't know why exactly she was asking me this, but I had an idea. An idea that soon became a realization. Mia was planning to die. I had no idea whether or not I should stop her. It was probably too late for me to say anything that might reach her. And so I took Mia's hand and went to pull myself up. Felt a stabbing pain in my head. Pictured my eyes being dyed a scarlet red. The throbbing pulsation of the blood vessels inside my head reverberated throughout my entire body. It was too much. It hurt too much to move. I didn't have the strength.
歩ける。
Mia supported my body with her
歩い
shoulder.
てくれないと困るわ。一緒に来てほしいの。私を助けると思って。
All right. I'm assuming this is going to be the ending scene for this, so let's see it. Everybody's freaking out. People are dying. With my body supported by Mia, the two of us began walking in the direction of Shibuya. Shibuya had transformed into a city of death. Everywhere you looked, corpses were strewn across the ground. Some were covered in blood, some had their limbs severed, some had their heads crushed. Not even a shred of human dignity could be seen in the absolute hellscape spread out before us. Not a single glimmer of the city's former glory remained. The only things it held now were death, ash, and despair. Nothing more. Huge cracks tore through the roads, large scars indicative of how it could all come crashing down at any moment. Huge chunks of debris had fallen from the crumbling buildings, blocking our way. It was difficult to even walk in a straight line, but none of that was enough to make us lose focus of our goal. Mia and I marched on, completely disregarding the cries for help around us. Our destination was the building towering above in the distance, Cornelius Tower. The tower was still standing. The outer walls were crumbling in certain spots, but the structure itself had more or less tanked the earthquake. It stood straight and tall. As far as we could tell from the outside, it seemed like the lights were off on every floor. Maybe everyone had evacuated, leaving the building vacant and abandoned. Naturally, the lobby was completely empty. There didn't seem to be any electricity either, so the elevator didn't work. Our only option was to get to the rooftop. Our only option to get to the rooftop would be the emergency stairs. When the details behind the group dive case had appeared online, I had done a little digging into the building. Cornelius Tower stood at 184 meters tall with 41 floors above ground. There was absolutely no way I could climb that many floors, not when I couldn't even walk straight with this headache. And yet, Mia kept on supporting me. Leaning on her, we climbed the stairs, step by step, sweat dripping down our foreheads.
お父さんとお母さんは私が自分のことをユアちゃんだって言い出して、私をユアとして扱ってミアが死んだことにしたのかも。
She was talking to herself. I listened along in silence. Well, she probably didn't need to listen, or probably didn't need me to listen. She was just talking aloud, and I just happened to be there.
昔からそうだった。私は生意気な娘だったから。両親はいつも私を腫れ物にでも触るかのように使ったわ。
God damn.
ミアを死んだことにするなんてね。親はユアちゃんよりミアに死んでほしかったのかもしれない。それも全部私のせいだけど。自分がユアちゃんだと思い込んだ。ユアちゃんが死んだみたいに私も死ねばいいのよ。
ユアはどんな人だったの？
憧れだった。羨ましかった。たまにイラついたりしたけど嫌いじゃなかった。むしろ大好きだった。ユアちゃんのこと大好きだった。ユアちゃんが笑顔でいてくれれば、私はいつも私のことを心配してくれたわ。心配させてるのが申し訳なくて、私はつい冷たく接してた。ユアちゃん。
Mia kept climbing the stairs, tears gently streaming down her face. Were they tears of regret, tears of sorrow, or tears of guilt? That I couldn't tell. The wind was stronger than I thought it would be on the helipad. A panorama of Shibuya's nightscape spread out right before our eyes, but now, its former brilliance was nowhere to be found. The city had been fully engulfed in darkness. One could just barely make out landmarks like Tokyo Tower, Roppongi Bills, or other buildings situated in Shinjuku in the distance. The Shibuya beneath our feet was veiled in complete and utter silence. There was very little light, allowing darkness, complete reign over the ruined city. It's almost like there was an incident in Shibuya. Am I right, guys? Am I right? That's, you know, am I saying Jujutsu Kaisen basically copied it from Chaos Head? Yes. Yes, that's what I'm saying. If it were noon, then Shibuya's new form would be nothing less than stupefying.
西条くん。
Mia gently let me go, retracting the arm that had been supporting me. I immediately sank down to the ground, not a single ounce of energy left in my
一
legs.
緒に飛んで
No,
くれない？
no, actually. Mia stared deep into the dark night. Fierce gusts of wind sent her long hair fluttering in the sky, hiding her expression from view. That was when I realized Mia had come here to jump, to follow in her sister's footsteps. With that in mind, my answer was clear.
やだね。僕は死にたくない。なんで僕を監禁した女と心中しなくちゃいけないんだ。
Well, it's too bad, Takumi, because you don't have a choice anymore.
そう言うと思った。
One step at a time, Mia walked towards the edge of the heliport, facing the strong wind head on.
そうそう。西条くんと予約しに行ったセイラちゃんのフィギュア。
Oh yeah, Mia actually did like anime, though. So she already is probably a big fan. Suddenly she stopped and turned around.
ちゃんと買ったのよ。とても可愛くてセクシーだね。
Cute and
すっかり
sexy
気に入
too.
っちゃって、私の部屋の机の上に飾ってあるの。
Aww. A transient smile spread over Mia's lips. All the times for her to have said that, why now?
そんなこと言っても僕は君に同情しない。
同情なんて求めてないわ。それじゃさよなら。
The boy who killed me.
私もユアちゃんのところに行くね。
What Nishijo-kun had just said was very reasonable. It was strange, though, and it made me feel lonely. There was this heart-rending pain in my chest. In the end, I had never been afforded the opportunity to confirm whether or not he was Shogun. Maybe he had been telling the truth, and I was the one who'd gotten it all wrong. But even if I wasn't wrong, there was no point in holding a grudge against him now. If only I hadn't asked Yua-chan to switch places with me back then. If only I had just gone to the offline meet myself, then Yua-chan would still be alive. Yua-chan hadn't deserved to die. She had had so many friends. Our parents had loved her more than anything. She'd been the smartest, most beautiful girl I'd ever met. And yet, she had died anyway. Kusunoki Yua had died anyway. And when she had, Kusunoki Miya had disappeared along with her. She had vanished into thin air, becoming a ghost. That was the choice I had made back then. I could no longer tell whether I was alive or dead. All I knew was that Yua-chan wasn't here anymore, so I'd rather be dead. I stood at the edge of the helipad, where Yua-chan and the other four had jumped off that night. Looking down made me feel dizzy. The whole nightscape was pitch black. All the lights in the city had gone out, and yet even in that darkness, I could still tell just how high up I really was. I wondered how Yua-chan had felt when she jumped off of here. I wondered how Yua-chan had felt when she had jumped off of here. She had probably been terrified. I'm sorry, Yua-chan. I'm sorry you had to go through something so terrifying because of me. I'll be going too very soon. I'll take in the pain that you endured, the pain that I alone was supposed to feel, and grave it onto my body, Yua-chan. Okay, get the water. I took a deep breath. My heart and mind were at peace. I wasn't afraid of dying. I spread my wings. My arms lay in the empty air. I closed my eyes. And then I stepped forward into the bottomless abyss before me. And then Takumi stopped her, right? With nothing to support me anymore, I fell. Okay, never mind. She really did go. Alright, she's flying. My whole world turned upside down. There was nothing left to chain me back. Even though I was in free fall, it almost felt like I was floating. Floating amid the tumbling of the wind. The ground was rushing toward me. The very same asphalt that Yua-chan had crashed into 2 months back. The hardened tar that had crushed her bones, ruptured her organs, and sprayed her blood and gray matter across itself. I don't want to die. Just a moment ago, I hadn't been afraid to die, but the second I had lost control of my body, I had been overcome with a tremendous sense of dread. I don't want to die. Even if Yua-chan had died, I still want to live. This is just my survival instincts taking over. I screamed. I screamed from the bottom of my soul. I desperately reached out my hand to the distant night sky above me. I knew there was no one that could grab onto it, but I reached out all the same. There was no end to my screams. I pleaded. I don't want to die. But nobody heard me. Nobody grabbed my hand. I simply fell, with the earth coming closer and closer. And then we woke up. What? Did she live? I had felt my body shatter into a million pieces, but that feeling had disappeared soon after. When I came to, I found myself collapsed on the roof of Cornelius Tower. Nishijo-kun was in front of me. He still wasn't looking at me, but he was reaching his hand out, even so. I had definitely jumped, no doubt about it. I had definitely taken that nearly 180-meter dive and smashed right into the ground. But now, I just sat there, staring at Nishijo-kun's hand, utterly dumbfounded. I even forgot to wipe away the tears streaming down my face. Nishijo-kun's words were blunt and curt. I don't want people to blame me for it. I don't need that. It's called a delusion, okay? You'll learn. A delusion? You're telling me all those sensations, all that pain was just a delusion? That's impossible. It felt so real.
西条くん、ゆあちゃんはあんな痛い思いをして死んだんだね。なのに、ゆあちゃんと同じ痛みを味わおうとしたのに、私は死にたくないって思っちゃったの。本来死ぬのは私だったのに、死にたくないって。もう飛べない。あの痛みを知ってしまったら、もう 怖くて飛べた。私どうすればいいのか。
You live. You just live.
今ので君は一度死んだ。ユアの痛みを知ったならもうそれでいいじゃないか。これからはもう一度楠木宮として一から生きていけばいいと思う。ユアの分まで。
ありがとう。ありがとう。
I reached for the hand that I reached for the hand that he'd extended out to me and took it. It was so very, very warm. I could feel his body heat through his palm. A warmth so comforting, I felt my hand start shaking. We did it, gamers. Another ending done. Wow. Oh, God. All right. Okay, I mean, the twist with Yua just actually being Mia was heavily hinted at. I feel like it would have been cooler if it turned out there was no twin sister the whole time. I feel like that would have been a cooler way to end it. But I understand this ending. I'm fine with it. I don't know. I liked Yua's route ending more than Nanami's, I think. I mean, Nanami's was interesting in its own ways or whatever. But the big thing that we learned tonight, okay, the big thing is that each of these takes me about 3 hours because it takes you 1 hour just to get started with the fucking thing. So we'll keep that in mind because this stream has gone on for 6 hours now. So we'll keep that in mind in the future. These routes are not as long as the chapters, but it takes at least a fucking hour to get to them. Okay? 48 minutes to an hour to get to them. So keep that in mind as we go through the other ones. Takumi at least did something good this time. Yes, he did. This definitely will not also turn out to be some kind of delusion. They will definitely live happily ever after here. Aww. No, that's a nice one to end it on. I had assumed the CG of Mia and Takumi, I guess Mia / you or whatever, would be a little closer with them though, so you can get a better look, but alright, I'm fine with it. Wait, the achievement said Moon and Sun. Okay, so the official translation was Moon and Sun. The fan translation is Sun and Moon. Okay. I understand. So it doesn't fucking matter what I name it. Alright. Both are correct. Moon and Sun, Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon makes more sense, but it's probably... There might be a specific reason why they chose Moon and Sun. I don't know. Anyways, we did it, gamers. We've reached Chaos Head, Noah, the ending routes for Nanami, and Yua. We're now all set with that. We're all good. We're all done with that. It's done. There's no more Chaos Head. There's no more of it. We gotta... Can I trigger one of the, like, movies? Yeah, okay, we're good. We're all done. We've been streaming for 6 hours. I'm tired. It's time for us all to go to bed. Stay safe, everybody. Don't know if we'll be streaming over the weekend. If we do, we'll be doing probably more of this or Master Duel. I'll figure it out. But we're probably not going to be doing 2 routes in one stream again, or if we do, it'll be like if I'm starting at like 2 o'clock or whatever, like early in a day, not 9 o'clock that becomes 2 a.m. or whatever, like. So anyways, stay safe, everybody. Talk to you all later. Bye, gamers.